BBC News at 7 o'clock. This is Harvey Cook. The Royal College of Nursing has called off next week's strike action in England while it enters what it calls intensive talks with the government on pay, terms and conditions. The union's members had planned a 48-hour walkout starting on the 1st of March. Our health reporter Michelle Roberts has more.
A joint statement from the Department of Health and Social Care and the Royal College of Nursing says both sides are committed to finding a fair and reasonable settlement, one that recognises the vital role nurses play in the NHS, as well as the wider economic pressures facing the UK and the Prime Minister's priority to halve inflation. The Health Secretary will meet the Royal College of Nursing tomorrow to begin talks.
The Education Secretary says she's written to teaching unions, inviting them to enter formal talks on pay, conditions and reform, on the condition that strikes across the north of England next week are cancelled. Asda and Morrisons say they're putting limits on purchases of some fruit and vegetables as supermarkets face shortages of fresh produce. Asda is capping sales of items such as tomatoes, peppers and lettuce at 3 each per customer. Andrew Opie from the British Retail Consortium says the main issue is the weather.
Very unseasonable weather down in southern Spain, southern Europe and into North Africa, exactly the sort of place we source lots of imports of fresh produce like tomatoes and peppers at this time of the year. So that means some problems with availability, but supermarkets are pretty adept at meeting these challenges as we saw during the pandemic.
President Biden has stressed that the US and other Western countries' support for Ukraine will not waver in a defiant speech in Poland delivered in the run-up to the first anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion. He told a cheering crowd in Warsaw that Vladimir Putin's lust for power and land would fail and painted the struggle as a battle for democracy.
Would we stand up for the sovereignty of nations? Would we stand up for the right of people to live free from naked aggression? Would we stand up for democracy? 1 year later, we know the answers. Yes, we would stand up for sovereignty, and we did.
The Romanian court has confirmed that the social media influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan will remain in custody for a further 30 days. The two men have been held for almost 2 months while police investigate allegations of human trafficking and rape, which they deny. The sandwich chain Pret A Manger says it will stop making smoothies, frappes and milkshakes in a blow to its drinks subscribers. The blended drinks can be more expensive and take longer to make. They'll be replaced with iced beverages in the summer, a move the company is billing as the biggest drinks innovation in more than 5 years. So to the weather, well, breezy with some drizzly rain across much of the UK. And that's the BBC News at 3 minutes past 7.
Exclusive performances by your favourite artists. Together with the BBC Concert Orchestra. From classic tracks to brand new covers.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
Radio 2's Piano Room. Watch on iPlayer, listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
Welcome to 5 Live Sport as 6-time winners Liverpool take on 13 times winners Real Madrid yet again in the Champions League. This time, having met in the final a couple of times over the last few years, it's the first leg of their last 16 tie. Let's get straight to Anfield where we can get the team news with John Murray.
Good evening, Kelly. And the news for Liverpool is that Darwin Nunez has been passed fit to play for Liverpool. So the team is the same as at Newcastle on Saturday, and that is Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez and Van Dijk, Robertson at left back, Captain Henderson, Fabinho and Bajcetic, and then Salah, Gakpo and Nunez. So no return for Konate yet. Incidentally, he's not among the Liverpool substitutes. And the main news for Real Madrid is that, as expected, their captain and the number 9, Karim Benzema, the Ballon d'Or holder, is fit and he's in the team. The experienced Carvajal comes in at right back for Nacho. There's no place in the side for Ceballos, so Valverde drops back in there as part of the midfield three with Rodrigo part of the front line. So Courtois in goal, the man of the match in the final last season. Carvajal Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger and Alaba, Valverde, Camavinga and Modric, and then Rodrigo, Benzema and Vinicius Jr. But the other big story today, Kelly, is the fact that Toni Kroos is on the bench, the German World Cup winner, who didn't travel with the squad to Merseyside. He's been unwell, he's missed the last couple of matches, but overnight they obviously tested him, decided he was okay, and he was flown in this afternoon, landed on Merseyside this afternoon, and he's on the bench, Toni Kroos.
What an option for Real Madrid to have available for this game at Anfield this evening. Alongside John Murray, it's Alan Shearer. Let's start with the Liverpool team, Alan. Obviously, the big question mark was over the fitness of Darwin Nunez. I think those pictures that we saw of him training over the last couple of days suggested that he would be available for this game, and it just makes such a difference in terms of their goal-scoring power.
Yeah, and makes a difference for him as well, because he's with a goal he had at the weekend. He'll be full of confidence. You know, it's when goals are tough to come by, then it's harder to go out onto the pitch. But when you're scoring, you need to get out there. You need to keep in your rhythm. So I think it's vitally important, not only for Liverpool but for him as well, that he was fit tonight.
So Liverpool have Darwin Nunez available for them. Other than that, it's a very familiar Liverpool lineup. But those changes for Real Madrid, with Toni Kroos being able to come in and fly in and have that place on the bench. Mind you, having said that, it's not like there's a shortage of options in midfield for Carlo Ancelotti.
No, they're spoiled, aren't they? Whatever team they would have put out, they're a club that has got huge experience, of course, in this competition. Nothing will faze them, whether they go a goal behind or not. It won't really bother them, because they've been there before, they've seen it all and done it all. So whoever comes into their squad, they know what they have to do. They know how this team operates. So, yeah, it's Liverpool know they're in for a tough game tonight against these world-class players.
Often when we've been talking about Liverpool in the Champions League, it's either been a European Cup final against Real Madrid, and Jurgen Klopp has been sort of referring to that during the build-up to this game, or it's been a huge occasion at Anfield, a kind of must-win game. Does this one feel more like Liverpool need something slightly more low-key than that, almost a kind of steady performance against Madrid?
Yeah, but you know, just getting here at Anfield and walking around the stadium, you feel as if there's something big happening tonight. You can feel the atmosphere. There's an excitement, there's an anticipation in this crowd, and I feel that as well, just sitting here in the stadium, and there's a little bit of a buzz. Okay, the stadium's there are fans on their way in here now, and there's not as many in as there will be in half an hour, but there's still something about it that it's Liverpool, Real Madrid. So you know this crowd, you know that what they're going to be like at the beginning of the game. So you try and keep the Liverpool players quiet. I think they'll try and go for it. They'll try and get the advantage here tonight at Anfield, and maybe they'll just need that.
Well, Liverpool did win their first 3 matches against Real Madrid in European competition, but that was between 1981 and 2009. Since then, though, they haven't won in 6 games against them. 5 of those have ended in defeat. Here's Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp on facing Real Madrid once again.
You always work so hard for qualifying for the Champions League, so I really think you have to cherish these moments where you just think, okay, that's Liverpool, Real Madrid. We all dreamt of that, we all did, and that will never change. That it will be a special game, and so I expect Anfield on their toes. To be honest, I'm really happy for the people that they saw us in a better shape the last 2 games, that they have a bit more things to look forward to. And we played this final in Paris. I didn't watch it back since then, until this weekend. So the thing I realized immediately, now I know why I didn't watch it back. But I had to. It was proper torture. Because we played a good game. And we could have won the game. And that's a decisive word. We could, because we didn't. They scored a decisive goal, we didn't. And that was the reason. You could see in this game how experienced Madrid is, how little they are fussed by the fact when the other team has chances. They don't lose confidence in 1 second. They know our chance will come. They are there for that. Then they defend with legs, deep defending together. So this is this team, and that's the competition, and that's what you can learn from them. But this is now different teams, same clubs, different teams, different times. And so there's a history. In the last few years, one of us was kind of always in a final. That's how it feels, at least. And usually, if you want to go to the final, it's always you have to kick us out or them. This time we play each other, so let's see who can go through.
That was Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp on playing Real Madrid, and at Anfield for us, Alan Shearer and John Murray. We're also joined by former Liverpool player Adam Lallana, who played in the 2018 Champions League final against Real Madrid. And Jurgen Klopp, Adam, was talking about the different experiences. Although Liverpool don't have a good record against Real Madrid in the last 6 games, it's always been for different reasons. It doesn't feel like there's a common thread across those games.
Good evening, everyone. You're right.
Yeah, all good, Adam.
Yeah, you're right. I think listen, they're 2 heavyweights, and I think whenever you come across against Real Madrid, it's always going to be the ultimate test. And I think even though they're not winning La Liga at the minute, I think that's kind of irrelevant in a game like tonight. And even though it's the last 16. It feels like a game much bigger than that, almost semi-final feel about it tonight. And I heard Alan saying there about the build-up at Anfield, and it will have that special feeling tonight because the fans know that they're going to have to be a 12th man.
Yeah, there's so many television crews on the side of the pitch at Anfield this evening who are there to try and capture this moment and try and capture this game, because it does feel like it has an added importance. It is just around a 16 first leg though, but as Alan was saying earlier on, this isn't going to feel like that inside Anfield and with the Anfield crowd. Adam, when you were at Liverpool and you played teams regularly, when you play the same European competition regularly, or the same European competitors regularly, how did you feel about that? Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy the chance, the opportunity to get revenge, or was it something that you think, I wish it was someone else? I'd like to get a chance to go against one of the other big guys.
Honestly, when Jurgen came, I don't think it mattered who we played against. He was able to give us the belief that it didn't matter whether it was Barcelona, Real Madrid, the holders. He made us believe it was his competition, because I think he'd won it already. He'd lost in a final with Dortmund as well. So even though the track record against Madrid's not great, hearing the stats a short while ago, because it's at Anfield and because Jurgen's the manager, I don't think it matters as much. But like I said, it's going to be a very, very difficult test for Liverpool. The moment that they're in this season, Jurgen said about the last 2 games, they're in a bit of a better moment, but it's still not been ideal. But it'll be a test, and it'll be a great watch this evening.
The managers this week, Alan, have been very complimentary about each other. Ancelotti was in charge of Everton during the COVID period, and they became quite close during that time and spending time in the city and away from their families overseas. But he said after the win in last year's final that Liverpool were easier to decipher than other teams. Do you think they're still an easy side to predict? And does that necessarily make them an easier side to play against?
No, not really, because I'm not sure what to expect from Liverpool this evening either, because of the form that they're in. When you look at the last 2 games that they've had, yes, it's been an improvement, but they haven't been anywhere near the standard that Liverpool have set themselves, and that Jurgen has set this team over the past few years with the energy and with their pressing. So I'm not sure that what they're going to face this evening, but that's in terms of the energy and everything else. Yes, it was a bit better against Everton and Newcastle, but I wouldn't get too excited to say they're actually back. So if we don't know, then I'm pretty sure that Real Madrid don't know either. But what they will know is coming here with this crowd, with this atmosphere, and with some of the players that are in Liverpool's team, if they fire, if they're on form, they know that they're in for a tough game tonight. But I don't know what to really expect from Liverpool.
Yeah, and in terms of the level of their performance, Adam, it's difficult to predict what we're going to see from Liverpool. But over the last couple of games, as Alan was saying, they've got the victories, and they've had at least approaching that level of performance. With a Jurgen Klopp side, because they're so energetic, once that momentum is gone, is it very difficult to get back? And so how much significance does the 2 wins in a row coming into this one have on tonight's game?
Yeah, it is important they get the momentum back, and like Alan said, they've picked up 2 wins without being anywhere near at their best. But listen, I've spoke to Jordan multiple times in the last few weeks about the form of the team and how they're feeling, and in a way, I think the way that the team's playing at the minute and the moment they're in will make them underdogs, not just tonight, but I think in the competition. And that's exactly where they'll want to be. They'll want to be underdogs, because if they start well tonight, if they get the fans up, it will just be a fortress there. And that's how Liverpool have been so successful under Jurgen in Europe, because the blend of Jurgen and Anfield makes it so difficult for opponents. The ground can almost swallow you up at times, and because in every round you're playing at Anfield, it's over 2 legs. That fits into Liverpool's favour. So although they're not in a great moment, I think that they still can be very dangerous.
And Kelly, I think it'll help them being at home after the last 2 results that they've had as well, because I think if they were to go away, then they wouldn't quite have the crowd with them there, and with the backing here that they're going to get tonight, I think it's an ideal game with the form that they've been in, and with the last 2 games that they've got this crowd roaring them behind right from the off.
I've found Rafa Benitez's comments this week really interesting, because in the build-up to this game, he's talked about the problems that Liverpool might create for themselves if both Alexander and Arnold and Robertson get forward at the same times. That you have Vinicius Jr and Benzema and Rodrigo able to exploit the spaces that they leave behind. Adam, the reason I find it interesting is that, 1, that's how Liverpool play, and 2, Rafa Benitez and Jurgen Klopp see the game very differently. But is that a potential danger for Liverpool?
I think it is. What you were saying earlier about, I think it was Ancelotti saying that Liverpool play a certain way and they don't really change. So it'll be interesting to see if that's the case tonight, especially with how Trent plays. He's obviously likes getting forward, and it'll be important that Jordan's obviously covering him, and it's good that Virgil's back in at the back. They've had a couple of clean sheets in a row, but Liverpool won't change. There's no way Liverpool will change the way they want to play. And a big part of their game is the fullbacks getting forward. That's how they provide so many assists. And I think as I said, it's going to be a great game tactically to see how that goes out in the first half.
Kelly, can I ask Adam, the wins that you've had, the Brighton wins against Liverpool recently, was there a sense of anything being slightly different about them, or was it more down to the way that Brighton played?
Don't give away your secrets, Adam.
Listen, a little bit of both. I probably have got a little bit of inside information to the team, and some weaknesses, if you can even call them weaknesses. But it doesn't mean that they can't still blow you away on their day. That's a fact, and that's still the case tonight. Liverpool can win this game 3-0 if everything goes to plan. I was there when they rolled over Barcelona 4-0 at Anfield to make it through to the final. But they need the momentum, they need the fans, they need the noise, the feeling, the emotion for that all to happen.
It's been really interesting watching them, because it feels as though, and I understand why John's asking that question, because it feels as though with Liverpool so much of it is dependent on their energy, and you're talking about the momentum and the application, and it's almost as if it's those kind of things that are missing. And I read a point on Liverpool which I found really interesting, where somebody said, when they play well, it brings out the best in everyone in the team. But when it goes badly, it makes sense that everyone in the team would look a little bit off their game. Can you see that, Adam, in the Liverpool performances that have maybe preceded the last couple?
Yeah, I'm going to say something now, and I'm interested to hear what you think, Alan, on this. Last season, Liverpool played in every single match possible. And, they won a couple of competitions, but they lost the Champions League final and they lost the Premier League in the last 20 minutes of the last game of the season. So I think with that produces a lull off the back of a tough season, loads of games, and I just think you're witnessing this season, too many players having a moment where they're flat, and then the World Cups come, and yes, they need to bounce. They all need to bounce and find something within them to go again, and that's they're at that stage now where they have to go again. But I sympathise with them. A lot of them are my ex-teammates, but they're human beings as well. So this, it is a sport that everyone loves, and we all critique and have our own opinions. But I think a big factor of it is tiredness, fatigue.
No, I agree with that. I mean, it must have been both physically and mentally really, really tough for them after what happened last season, after so long being in every competition and going again, and then having to put your boots back on and then go again. And I mean, it was relentless that they were under, and perhaps didn't get the investment with signings, because I mean, Gakpo came in at a really tough time. I mean, if we're looking at it from the bigger picture, he perhaps was put in far too early and put in at a really difficult time. Bajcetic has done wonders really for someone so young and coming in and really looking unfazed, but he's another one that might not have been in there if they had had the investment that perhaps the team might have needed. So when you put all that together, then there are excuses for looking physically and mentally tired, but I don't think there are too many to say how poor they have been over recent weeks, because I mean they've been unrecognisable. Because you can. It's only right that 4 or 5, maybe 6 or 7 lose form, but every single player, I think, maybe other than the goalkeeper, who I think has probably been at really high standard most of the season, but he's probably had to be. But from everyone else, there's an argument to say you've been miles away from the standards that you've set.
But I think it's very, and we talk about it all the time about what Liverpool did last season compared to this season and the inconsistency. But, it is, I think you can't underline it enough. I was looking at it this morning, just reminding myself that that's the closest that any team has ever come to the quadruple. Effectively 2 matches away from winning the quadruple. First team to get to the Champions League, FA Cup and League Cup finals in the same season. The first to do that. And I guess the point is the pressures that are involved in that, all the way through the season, to keep that going to the point where you're so close.
No, I agree. I wouldn't argue against it. I mean, it must have been mentally so tough for them to keep on churning out performances week after week with all of us, or with everyone looking on them and them wanting to set their own standards. And I agree that must have taken its toll. But then I can't believe at times how bad they've been. And it has been refreshing, even though it was against my team at the weekend against Newcastle. They were a little bit better, but they still weren't anywhere near, because I think when you analyse the game, they lost most set pieces in the game against a 10-man Newcastle. Now, what was that down to? Oh, we were 2-0 up very early. We're against 10 men. We've got one eye on Real Madrid. There's an excuse for that. But then they still give far too many chances away for Newcastle against the 10 men.
And that's a great point, Kelly. I mean, we mentioned it in the commentary when Chris Waddle was with me on Saturday, but the fact that Newcastle, I think they've won the ball from every single corner that Newcastle had, and Chris said on Saturday that's something that Real Madrid will certainly have taken note of.
Absolutely. So it's Liverpool against Real Madrid, last season's Champions League finalists, in the round of 16 first leg at Anfield this evening. Alan Shearer and John Murray are at the ground for us. Adam Lallana is with us as well, and commentary to come from 8 o'clock. Let's just round up some of the other sports headlines from today. Leeds United's search for a head coach is over. They've appointed former Watford boss Javi Gracia on what the club described as a flexible contract. He's been out of work since leaving Qatari side Al Sadd last June, where he'd taken over from Xavi after his move to Barcelona. He replaces Jesse Marsh, who was sacked a fortnight ago. BBC Radio Leeds' Adam Pope joins us now. Good evening, Adam.
Evening, Kelly.
So what do Leeds want from Gracia? Why him?
Well, firstly, stay in the division. That has to be it, doesn't it? Let's forget any long-termism here, and I think you've reflected that with a flexible contract being mentioned by Leeds today. He has to keep them up like he did Watford when he went in there, a handful of years ago when they were a handful of points above the drop zone. But Leeds are in a far worse position than Watford were then. So it's all about staying in the division, and that's mission one. And then let's see what happens in the summer with him.
How have the fans reacted to this? Are they happy that he's coming in?
Well, let's put it into context. Since the white smoke tweet from the chairman, Andrea Radrizzani, suggesting they were going to make an appointment, about a week or so ago, that didn't happen because they couldn't prize away the likes of Iriola from Vallecano or Slot from Feyenoord. Fans have then been thinking, what's going on? And it's been a bit of a farce since then that they've not been able to get any of their main targets. So it got to the stage after the dire performance and a terrible result against Everton the weekend that it was just relief that well, as one fan said to me last night, they said, we just need a warm body in the building now. And it got to the stage where some was so desperate. But I think there's also, there is credibility here in him because he's done well at Watford in the past. So he has Premier League credentials. And not least, he took them to an FA Cup final, only the second time ever in their history, and gave them their highest place finish in the Premier League too. So I think, as well as relief, there's some recognition that this guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and knows the league and knows exactly what is needed. But if it doesn't go right, is that where the flexible nature of his contract comes in?
Yeah, I've got to say I've not seen that term used in a statement by a club. I mean, I think to be quite honest with you, Kelly, as soon as it got to this stage, and we can all argue the merits of whether Jesse Marsh should have been sacked in October, even last summer, despite keeping Leeds in the division, or before the World Cup. They left it too late, to be quite honest. So this means that any long-term appointment has sort of gone beyond them at this point, hence the flexible nature of this deal. And let's be honest, that's got to mean, hasn't it? Let's see what happens at the end of the season. And it may be that Leeds have identified their target and maybe agreed that somebody's going to come in the summer already. We'll have to see. I mean, these are the questions to be asked when we get to speak to Javi Gracia, hopefully over the next day or so. But certainly we can see that his mission is to keep them in the division, and hopefully he's got that calmness of presence, which I understand he has, and an ability to bond with fans and players and to get a reaction out of them. Because although performance had improved, Kelly, against Manchester United in particular, and Michael Scubala did a really good job getting a point when people thought that would be beyond them over 2 games. Things were clearly difficult against Everton, and it meant things had to change. Otherwise, standing still was going backwards. Hence, we've got this, if you like to call it, an expedient appointment.
Alan, I know you're listening into what Adam's had to say on this, but the fact that they've brought in a manager with Premier League experience, but it's taken a little bit longer than they hoped to get the man in the seat, as Adam said, a warm body in the building. What do you make of the appointment of Javi Gracia?
They had to do something, and they had to do it quickly, because after their performance at the weekend against Everton, I watched them, they were hopeless. They looked devoid of any ideas. They didn't have a goal threat at all. So they had to go out and appoint someone. They could get him. He's got Premier League experience. He's available. He could not demand. He doesn't demand a long contract that perhaps others are looking at the job and wanting. So he's got one job, and that job is to try and keep them up. It's going to be very, very difficult.
It is going to be very difficult. And Adam, as you were saying, there were maybe at times some signs of improved performances, but goal scoring has been a huge issue for Leeds United, and it feels like that's almost going to be the most difficult thing to try and fix.
Yeah, and not least, Kelly, because Rodrigo, their top scorer, is out for 2 months, of which I think it's about 3 weeks into that period now with ankle surgery. He's got 12 goals. And Patrick Bamford, coming back from injury, is looking fitter, but is struggling to find the net somewhat, and particularly we saw that at Goodison at the weekend. He has scored 3 times. Not enough coming from midfield, to be quite honest, either. And so it is a problem for them. But so is defending too, and that's the job that Grafia's got to have to do, because it's become a bit of a running joke that Leeds would typically concede 2 a game. And this is a huge issue, but they have bought in the transfer window. Look, Jorginho Ruta, potentially the club's record signing has come in, but it's quite clear that he's going to take some time to get up to speed. And where's he going to play? That's the other thing. At the moment, Bamford is the clear number 9. But is he going to play down the middle? Is he going to play wide? We'll have to wait and see what Gracia sees in him. But that team selection on Saturday is going to be all important. But they are definitely lacking, a clear number 9 that's in form right now. And the reliance on Bamford is huge, as it has been at times, despite the fact that he's been injury prone for quite a while now, and is only just sort of returning to full fitness.
Adam, good to talk to you. Thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure.
That was Adam Pope from BBC Radio Leeds, and you can hear more from him on the Leeds United Don't Go to Bed Just Yet on BBC Sounds. Now, in rugby union, Wales head coach Warren Gatland said he's confident the weekend Six Nations game with England will go ahead. Welsh players have been threatening to go on strike in a dispute over contracts, but Gatland hopes the situation will be resolved before Saturday's game.
I'm hearing positive things from both sides, yeah, so hopefully the discussions will be acceptable to both sides in terms of making some sort of compromise, and we can get on with the game. I think what the players were asking for, I think, was definitely reasonable in terms of, and there needed to be some negotiation. It's like everything, it's you've got to find some middle ground, and I think hopefully that, like I said, that the discussions today, there'll be some middle ground where the players are happy with, and the professional game board will be also happy with some of the concessions that they make as well. So there's not, the thing is, it's not always about, when you're in discussion, it's not always about a win-win for one side. You've got to find some compromise, and hopefully that will be the case today.
And BBC Wales rugby commentator Gareth Rhys-Owen can bring us the very latest on it. Gareth, as we heard there, Warren Gatland is hopeful. As it stands tonight, what's your understanding of the situation?
OK. Hi, Kelly. Officially, the game is on, OK? Mm-hmm. And you can hear from Warren Gatland's tone that he was confident that there would be a resolution. But I asked him directly, OK, considering what's at stake, are the players genuinely going to go ahead with the strike if they are not resolved, if the situation is not resolved? And he said 100%. The players privately are telling me they mean business. It's full steam ahead. They will go on strike. Now, Gatland was meant to name his team today, changed his mind. Training this afternoon was cancelled. That allowed the players to continue with the negotiations. Now, I think it's a wise decision to delay naming the team. Arguably, you could see a situation where this creates division within the playing base, because those players will know the specific ones which have more to lose. But tomorrow is the self-imposed D-Day from the players, and if we don't get clarity by then it's very iffy.
What are the players mostly concerned about? What are the main issues with the negotiations at the moment?
Okay, a few things at play here. The main driving force of the anger is the uncertainty. So the union and the regions come up with a 5-6 year plan on how the game is financed. They cannot get that sorted over the line. So right now, there are about 76 professional players in Wales who do not have a contract, do not have a job in June. You think of all the other countries who have sorted out their signings already. That's a very precarious situation for them to be at. Careers at stake. That's the broad picture. However, the detail is the contracts that have been mooted. They've been suggested to the players. This is how things will go from here on in. Firstly, they're annoyed that there's no representation on the board. The players don't get a say. We understand that will be sorted, and there'll be a union rep on all board meetings from here on in. Secondly, there was a hint that maybe players would be forced to go on loan against their will if they're not playing for one team. I think that may well be resolved. But the sticking point is the idea, yes, all players will see a reduction in their salaries. That's inevitable. The game is in recession. But they'll be on a base salary of 80%, and then the 20% would be made of performance bonuses, so appearances, wins, etc. The real issue for the players are they're being told at one hand, okay, because of concussion, because of injuries, we need to manage your time. You shouldn't be playing every game. Yet by definition, you're telling us the more you play, the more we'll pay. And secondly, in addition to that, you're telling us that the pot of money is coming down. By definition, then, the chance of success is being reduced, yet we're expected to win more, to earn more. So they're just pretty unhappy generally, and they want some sort of guarantee that things will be better.
A further complication is that if the game, a home game against England, isn't played, they miss out on the money that would bring in. So is that being factored into the planning?
Okay, make no mistake about this. It would be terminal if the game is called off. £10 million in total, the crux of the matter. So players tell me they mean business. The strike is on, but this is a very unique situation. This is the cash cow. Wales against England, the lifeline that supports the game. Players, staff, administrators know that the game has to be played for the game in Wales to survive. But this is the one play the players have, because it's their power play. This is the threat they can make. It's a game of bluff. Is it a game of chicken? We don't quite know. But this isn't... the traditional idea of people going on strike is you lose a day of productivity by not turning up to work. But this is very, very different. This is akin to factory workers standing by the factory and saying, you don't listen to us, we'll burn the whole thing down. It's that serious. If the game doesn't get played, the effect on Welsh rugby would be catastrophic. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants the nuclear option. That's why I believe that the game won't be called off. But I think when it comes to Welsh rugby, I've learned the hard way that being an optimist, never really pays off.
Gareth, appreciate you coming on to bring some clarity to that really desperate situation at the moment. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Thank you to Gareth Rees-Owen there, and you can keep up to date with everything Six Nations with the Rugby Union Daily. And we'll have commentary of England against Wales right here on 5 Live on Saturday at 4:45. That's if the game goes ahead, which at the moment it is officially expected to. It was a record-breaking afternoon for England's women in the T20 World Cup. They posted the highest total in the competition's history to beat Pakistan by 114 runs. Here's England's Catherine Sciver-Brunt on their performance.
We asked for that today. It felt like a good time to do it too, because we've been here a good amount of time now, and we've been putting things in place, trying a new style. Everybody's sort of trying to find their own feet and play the way they want to play, and I think it's taken up until this point for that to click. Like everything takes time, and not everyone can fire at once. That's like a rare thing, isn't it? But today that seemed like what did happen, and that's the kind of performance we can put in when everything comes together, and we're hoping that this is happening at the right time, and it's going to keep going in that direction towards the semi and the final.
Well, Adam Mountford was watching this afternoon, and Catherine Sciver-Brunt said it a couple of times there within that short period of time. The timing of that performance is great heading into the semi-finals.
Yes, good evening to you, Kelly. Absolutely. I think England, by their own admission, haven't put together a perfect performance so far in this tournament. They're unbeaten, but they haven't quite done it 100% in batting or in bowling. Today, well, it was pretty much there, and certainly with the batting, 213 for 5, as you mentioned. No team's ever scored more in the Women's World Cup. Nat Sciver-Brunt, Catherine's wife, continuing her excellent form, an unbeaten 81 from 41 balls, shared a 100 partnership with her former housemate, Amy Jones, who made 47. We also saw a return to form from Danny Wyatt. She set the tone with a 33-ball 59 at the top of the order. And then when it came to the bowling, well, Pakistan restricted to 99 for 9, and Catherine Sciver-Brunt there, as you say, was speaking to us there, took a couple of wickets. She's returned to form. She's really struggled in this tournament. A few question marks about her place. She has revealed this will be her last World Cup, and she told me afterwards she'd frankly had a shocker of a tournament so far and was just relieved to finally contribute. But can she finish her legendary career with a T20 World Cup win? I'd say don't judge England's score too highly at the moment, because Pakistan were abject today, but it does show the power hitting this England side have got, and that's what they're going to need, particularly if they face Australia in a final on Sunday.
Well, potentially Australia in the final, but England still don't know who they're going to play in the semi-final. South Africa need to beat Bangladesh to make the last 4, and you're watching that one, Adam.
Yes, it looks like it is going to be South Africa, the host, but my word, it was a nervy run chase, this. It's ridiculous because actually they bowled really well, restricting Bangladesh to just 113 for 6. Their star rounder, Marizan Kap, taking 2 for 17. Ayabonga Kaka, 2 for 21. But the tentativeness of the run chase was worrying for all the raucous fans here gathered in front of me here at Newlands. They were 9 without loss after the first 4 overs. Laura Wolfhart had an LBW a decision overturned. So many nerves, but these openers are finally moving through the gears. So the score at the moment, 83 without loss after 15 overs. Wolfhart on 42, Brits on 40. So South Africa need 31 more runs to win from 30 balls. This is a team that lost the opening game of this tournament to Sri Lanka, a shock result. It looks like they're going to make the semi-finals. England are favourites, but what I would say is that this South African side, when it comes to bowling, are dangerous with the likes of Kap and Kaka and Malava. They've got a very dangerous and varied bowling attack. So England will be favourites on Friday. That's when their semi-final will be, but there's no certainty they'll win.
Adam, thank you very much. Adam Mountford watching that match between South Africa and Bangladesh, and you can hear commentary on Sports Extra right now. In other news, Suzanne Pettersson will captain Europe in next year's Solheim Cup. It means that the Norwegian will lead Europe in consecutive competitions. She's also the captain for this year's event in Spain. Chelsea's Cesar Azpilicueta has been discharged from hospital after suffering concussion during Saturday's 1-0 defeat by Southampton. And Scotland have drawn 1-1 with Wales women at the Militao Cup in Spain. Wales are top of the table, but they can only win the 4-team tournament if Iceland lose to the Philippines this evening. Couple of matches across the EFL this evening. We're at the Den as Millwall face the Championship leaders Burnley. Aaron Paul is going to be keeping an eye on this one for us. Evening, Aaron.
Evening, Kelly. Welcome to deep South London, where the reverberations of Saturday's big win over Sheffield United are still being felt. And the opportunity presents itself for Vincent Kompany's Burnley to extend their gap to Sheffield United to 14 points at the summit of the Championship table. But Millwall are on a high, and the Den is becoming the archetypal fortress. 10 unbeaten here now, the Lions, but Gary Rowett is forced to rotate with the weekend hat-trick hero Tom Bradshaw benched in place of Duncan Watmore. Vincent Kompany also rotates, making 4 changes, with top scorer Nathan Teller dropping to the bench.
Of course, that's a hugely important game. But Aaron, the biggest news in the EFL today is Gareth Ainsworth, who after more than a decade has left Wycombe to take charge at QPR.
Yeah, you might consider this a hyperbole, but at the 400th time of asking, QPR have their man. The R's legend Gareth Ainsworth swaps Wycombe for W12. Ainsworth spent 7 years at Loftus Road as player, coach and interim boss, and returns having spent a decade in Buckinghamshire, saving Wycombe from EFL oblivion at Torquay United and winning promotion twice, including into the Championship for the first time. Look, a lot of people will be questioning the style of football Gaz likes to play, but make no bones about it, Rangers have hired someone who is one of the best man motivators in the country. He knows how to forge team spirit quickly, and best of all, for the QPR board, he can do things on the cheap. And let's be fair, where they are right now, the struggle that they're facing, he is everything that they need. On the flip side, and Wycombe have appointed his successor pretty much almost immediately after releasing the news that Ainsworth had left. One legend replaced another. Matt Bloomfield is the new Wycombe Wanderers head coach after just 5 months at Colchester United. Mr. Wycombe himself returns to Adams Park.
Aaron, thank you very much. We'll let you go because only a couple of minutes away from kick-off in that match at the Den. Aaron Paul's going to keep us right up to date with it. Quite a busy night in the Championship. Elsewhere, it's Blackburn against Blackpool, Norwich against Birmingham, Rotherham against Sunderland and Swansea against Stoke. A couple of games in League One and a few games in League Two and the National League as well. We'll keep you up to date with all of that throughout the evening. And if you want to keep across all the scores in the EFL alongside our commentary this evening, just press the red button or go to the iPlayer, or you can head to the BBC Sport app and then just click on 5 Live Final Score, where you'll get our commentary alongside the final score graphics. Of course, our commentary match this evening is from the Champions League. It's the round of 16 first leg match between Liverpool and Real Madrid, last season's finalists taking each other on at Anfield. And we'll turn our attention back to that game very shortly. There is, though, one other match in the Champions League tonight. Eintracht Frankfurt are at home to Napoli, and Sani Rudravajala is keeping an eye on this one. The Serie A league leaders on a winning streak, Sani.
Yes, they are, Kelly. 15 points clear at the top of Serie A, winning 7 league games in a row. It's 33 years since they last won the 2 of their Scudetto titles. That could all change come the end of the season, but they've never got to a Champions League quarter-final before. Victor Osimhen grabs the headlines. He's a complete striker. Nigerian's got 19 goals in 20 games, but they've got Georgian Kavicha Kvaratskhelia, who's a danger man in attack. He's set up 13, scored 11 himself, including a brilliant solo goal as they beat Sassuolo at the weekend. Now, Kelly, I don't know if something got lost in translation here, but Frankfurt manager Oliver Glasner has said the team are hot like chip fat for this game.
Chip fat's hot.
Well, it is very hot indeed. I don't know if it's a good thing though. But yeah, Frankfurt definitely know how to win in Europe. They won the Europa League last season. Their atmosphere at home is something else. Just ask Tottenham fans about that. Frankfurt finished second in the group behind Spurs, ahead of Sporting Lisbon and Marseille, and they've got some really important players as well. Randall Kolo Muani announced himself at the World Cup in Qatar with goal in that semi-final against Morocco for France. He's got 15 this season. There's another 2 World Cup players in Jesper Lindström from Denmark and Japan's Daichi Kamada. They've got 29 goals between them. Frankfurt, a couple of points off the Champions League places in the Bundesliga as well. And no, Frankfurt, Napoli, Kelly, maybe it's the hipster's choice tonight, but you don't need a long beard, tweed jacket or craft beer to enjoy this one.
No, just some chips. Sani Rudravajala, thank you very much. Sani's going to keep an eye on that game between Eintracht Frankfurt and Napoli. Could be a really exciting one. And we've got commentary of Liverpool against Real Madrid in the first leg of their last 16 Champions League tie. John Murray and Alan Shearer are there. Adam Lallana still with us as well. And Semra Hunter from La Liga TV is here to help us look at tonight's visitors to Anfield. Evening, Semra.
Hello, good evening.
Hello. So, Toni Kroos on the bench. He's been flown in specially. No Tchouaméni tonight, though. They do have so much cover in that area. But the fact that they've managed to bring Kroos over at the last minute, does that suggest that they might be a little bit of concern there from Madrid?
I have to admit that I'm a bit surprised that he went in the end, because he fell ill with gastroenteritis and he hasn't been able to play for the last few days. So I imagine that if he's there, it is a backup option in the case that Carlo Ancelotti should need it. But as you said, he's got plenty of cover in the midfield. He has other options, like the Ceballos would be a great resource for him to use at some stage during the game. But otherwise, there's important players coming back into the side, for example, like Karim Benzema. He's been out injured a fair amount this season, but he hasn't yet scored in the Champions League. He'll be up for the game tonight, and just his presence on the pitch as well will massively help the team in general in terms of how they want to approach this game. But I have to say, overall, I really like the starting 11 from Carlo Ancelotti. I think it's very offensive and it's a bit more attacking than I think we could have expected from him. He could have gone 2 ways with a 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 with Fede Valverde as a false winger and having 4 midfielders, but he's decided to go with Rodrigo and Vinicius and prepare themselves in the case that they have these quick transition moments, that they can hit Liverpool on the counter, and they're also quite good whenever it comes to link on play with the likes of Vinicius and Benzema, for example. You have Fede Valverde who can make runs into the box. And so he's, I think, expecting a very open game, and they know how dangerous Liverpool can be in those quick transitions as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they actually put it into practice, because they don't face teams like Liverpool all too often, especially not in La Liga.
Well, they don't, but Semra, as you said, it's particularly interesting that he's gone with such an attacking lineup, because it's a really big week coming up. They've got the game against Atletico on Saturday, and then it's El Clasico in the Copa del Rey finals. So it's just interesting how Carlo Ancelotti's planning is working.
And it's nice to see that he's rotating a lot more than he typically tends to do. Obviously, this season is a little bit different with the World Cup and with so many games coming thick and fast. The fact that they've been playing in so many competitions. They were in the Spanish Super Cup in January. They just came back from the Club World Cup in Morocco. They're still alive in the Kings Cup. They're still chasing Barcelona with an 8-point deficit in La Liga. They're still alive in the Champions League. So he has a lot of different open fronts. And so he knows that he needs to rotate. He has no other option when it comes to that. And so I think he's just going to put out whatever he feels will work best in any given situation. He knows how to manage these games, especially these high-profile games. And he also knows how to manage the game really well in terms of what kind of substitutions need to be made and at what given moment they need to be made as well. So I think that it's a good choice from him tonight, I have to say. They really have to go for the win, especially at Anfield, to set themselves up well for the second leg when they go back to the Bernabeu. But definitely some big important weeks and tough games coming up for them in the near future.
Yeah, it's getting to that stage of the season where everything's going to start to feel like a crucial game for everybody. But as you said, second in La Liga, 8 points behind Barcelona, and form has been patchy this season. So what do we see from Real Madrid at the moment?
It has been patchy, but they do tend to have a bit of a rough period every January, a little bit of a slump. They do tend to come out of that, though, because they really prepare themselves for when things start to get tough. February, March, this period of the campaign. They're kind of built and designed to compete at these moments of the season. And on top of that, when it comes to the Champions League, they hear the music, they hear the hymn at the beginning, and it's like they turn into the Incredible Hulk. They become a completely different monster whenever it comes to European competition. This is their fetish competition, so even if they're not playing well, they still know how to grind out results. And we saw that the last season when they went all the way and all the distance and won the Champions League, and they won, I think, 4 out of the last, I can't remember, 5 out of the last 8 years, whatever it was. And they weren't always the best team in Europe when they did that. They just know how to be really effective in certain moments of the game, and they can rely on certain individuals in moments of the game to get the job done without necessarily playing very well. And so I think that will be a factor potentially for them tonight. Defensively, they have been a bit shaky. They've improved in the last couple of games. They've had 2 clean sheets in La Liga. But they are exposed at the back. They do play a higher line, and that's something that Liverpool can definitely take advantage of. So I think we'll see goals going both ways tonight, and it should be a highly entertaining, exciting match.
Yeah, because as you said, there's plenty of space behind the Liverpool defence as well for Real Madrid to exploit.
Absolutely, especially down the left-hand side of Real Madrid. Vinicius Jr, that is how they like to attack. They like to go down the left. They like to use his speed, his pace. He's great in one-on-one situations, and we saw what happened in the final against Trent Alexander-Arnold last time out. And I think we'll see the same thing tonight. Because he likes to venture forward, doesn't he? There'll be plenty of space behind him for Vinicius to run into. And in a foot race, I think more often than not, Vinicius will win. And so they'll be looking for him, no doubt about that. And I think Rodrigo as well is another player you have to watch out for on the right-hand side, because he also is someone a little bit more dynamic, a bit more complete. He can play in one-off, in 1v1 situations. He can play off the wall. He can link up really well. And he can get into positions where he can be very effective in providing assists or service, or even scoring goals too. And he's someone that flies a little bit under the radar compared to Vinicius, because he gets all the highlights and all the attention, I would say. And especially because of his association with Benzema, they work so incredibly well together up front. But yes, I think they absolutely can be lethal in counter-attacking situations when they have space to run into, and they don't often miss whenever they are put in a circumstance like that. So watch out Liverpool at the back, I would say.
Semra, good to talk to you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Have a good one.
And you. Thank you to Semra Hunter there from La Liga TV. At Anfield for us this evening, Alan Shearer and John Murray were also joined by Adam Lallana. Adam, in all the build-up to this game, everything that we've said about the way that Liverpool have set up, where they're particularly vulnerable, what we've been hearing about Real Madrid and where they're vulnerable, as Semra was predicting a high-scoring game here, it certainly feels like a game in which there's going to be plenty of chances.
Sorry, Kenny, was that for me?
Yes, sorry, Adam.
Sorry.
It's starting to get noisy now.
Sorry. Yeah, listen, like what she was saying there, I think the team Ancelotti's picked is very attacking with 2 high attacking wingers that like getting at their defenders 1v1. So we're taking a close look at that and see how kind of Trent and Robbo deal with them, and they might need help, I think, at times through Jordan and young Stefan and maybe even Fabinho.
Alan, are you expecting an open game tonight?
I am. I'm hoping and wanting goals, and I think we'll get goals with the way both teams play, with the standard of forwards we have on the pitch. Yeah, I'm expecting goals, and quite a few of them.
Keeping you across everything that's happening elsewhere this evening across the EFL. There's already been a goal in the Championship in the 7:45 kickoffs. Swansea City are 1-0 up against Stoke. We'll keep you up to date with everything that happens. Our commentary match, though, comes to you, as you can hear, from Anfield, where it's Liverpool against Real Madrid as they play out last season's Champions League final. Tonight is the round of 16 first leg, and Anfield certainly sounds like it's ready. Adam, you're listening to this. You've been part of these big European nights. I know we say it every time, and I know fans of other clubs get sick of hearing about it, but these special occasions, are they special to play in?
It is, and it sounds like a loud one tonight there in the background. I think with the season Liverpool are having, the fans will know that the Champions League's their saving grace for the season, and they'll be underdogs, but they'll get right behind them and make it as uncomfortable as possible for Madrid tonight. So that's why it's so important they start fast. I so hope they come out the traps. You know, I want to see Jordan running and pressing, and all the teammates on the front foot. Like what Jurgen said, he wants the fans on their toes, and I'm sure they will be.
Adam, when you're saying this is the kind of game that is going to be hugely important to Liverpool's season, it feels like it could be a definitive game for Liverpool's season, because if they stay in it and they can go to the Bernabeu with a respectable scoreline, there's an opportunity for them to make something of this season that elsewhere has fallen flat.
Exactly that. I mean, imagine if they knock the holders out of the competition, then that will reignite the season. It will create momentum. What we were speaking about earlier, they will galvanise so much confidence. So it's very important that they get a good result tonight, and a good result is probably nothing short of a win, I think, to take over to the Bernabeu in a couple of weeks' time.
Adam, thank you very much. For now, Adam Lallana is going to be back with us later on this evening. And remember, you can listen to our commentary of Liverpool against Real Madrid alongside the final score graphics and the video printer tonight. All you have to do is to press the red button or to go to the BBC iPlayer or the BBC Sport app and click on 5 Live Final Score. So as I say, Adam back with us later on, but now we can join Alan Shearer and John Murray at Anfield.
Well, thanks, Kelly, and I think you might have been able to pick it up there, but that was an exceptionally rousing chorus of You'll Never Walk Alone, and they faded out Jerry and the Pacemakers quite early there and just let Anfield sing it, and my goodness, Alan, they sang it there, didn't they?
Yeah, that was very, very special. Whether you support Liverpool or not, you've got to look and you've got to think and admire what happens in this stadium, particularly in big games like this. And this is one hell of a big game for Liverpool.
It was really spine-tingling, actually. And just looking to the right, down there to the Kop, all of the banners and the flags are in there. Some of the humorous messages that you see on the banners on European nights. And then, as well, up on the roof of the Kop, the rectangular electronic scoreboards, and that says it all, really, doesn't it? Liverpool FC, Real Madrid, and it doesn't get much more enticing than Liverpool versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. They are two of this great competition's 4 most successful clubs, and this is the noise that is waiting for the teams in the tunnel. Via our screen in front of us here, we can see that they are lined up there. There's not a lot of chat going on at all. They're just waiting for the signal. Jordan Henderson standing at the top of the line of Liverpool players, and the officials have been given the nod. They're from Romania tonight. Istvan Kovac, the referee. And any moment now, Anfield will see them. Here they come. Here come the teams for Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Cheers and applause mixed with boos, and that's because the UEFA anthem is playing, the Champions League anthem. And I don't know about you, Alan, of course we were both there covering the match and experienced it at the end of last season, and I've been very interested in the report, the UEFA report that came out this week. And yes, there's an apology, and yes, Liverpool fans have been invited to ask for compensation. And listen to this. Listen to this. For the Champions League anthem, the UEFA anthem. This is the reaction of Liverpool Football Club to this anthem. that says it all. That says it all. That's how Liverpool Football Club feel about that report last week and the result of it thus far.
Well, we were there, John. We sampled it. We knew what went on. We knew what several people, including UEFA, were saying after that cup final, and it wasn't what we witnessed. And with the report that's come out, that's the least they deserve. They deserve more than what they've had, and it shouldn't have taken as long as it has done. And that report there, or that response, I should say, tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, and everyone here at Liverpool Football Club and in the football world will be waiting to see what further action is taken by UEFA and whether there is a complete change in the approach of organisation of big football matches. And, of course, it wasn't just the Champions League final last year, it was the last European Championship final at Wembley as well. So it is Real Madrid who are here, the winners against Liverpool in that final last season at the Stade de France. So the holders are in town, record 14 times winners of the European Cup or the Champions League, Spanish champions as well, and also the recently crowned FIFA Club World Cup winners. So it is a mammoth challenge for Liverpool, who of course are not in the best of form this season, languishing in 8th place in the Premier League table, but who have produced a couple of wins and performances against Everton and Newcastle in their last couple of matches. So Liverpool just going, Jordan Henderson going around the Liverpool players, and the Real Madrid fans are there as well. But before kick-off, we are also remembering one of the Real Madrid greats from the 60s and 70s, Amancio, the club's honorary president as well, Spanish international. And Kenny Dalglish is actually in front of the Anfield Road end at the moment, having laid a wreath in memory of Amancio. So the pre-match formalities are completed and we're ready for the start of the first leg of this round of 16 tie in the Champions League. Liverpool with Alisson in goal, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho and Bajcetic, Salah, Gakpo and the fit Darwin Nunez, and Real Madrid with Courtois in goal, the man of the match in the final last season, Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger and Alaba, Valverde, Camavinga and Modric, Rodrigo, Benzema and Junior. So Karim Benzema is fit, and Vinicius Jr, who like Benzema has scored 16 goals this season, one of the real danger men in this quality Real Madrid side. The teams are ready. Liverpool in the all red with the white trim, Real Madrid their first choice colours as well, the famous all white, and it's Real Madrid who kick off and immediately fire the ball forward. Boos for the former Chelsea man Antonio Rudiger as he gets his first touch, and Real Madrid with the ball in their own right back area. Liverpool playing from right to left in the first half, so towards the Anfield Road end, defending the Kop, and it is Real Madrid in possession inside their own half. The whistles, Real Madrid in possession in the early stages of this, as the ball is cleared by Courtois from the ground to the halfway line. Vinicius tries to get away from Alexander-Arnold, but Joe Gomez is there to collect possession and see it back to Alisson, and Liverpool have it. But it actually spun up against Andy Robertson down there, halfway inside his own half, and bounced off him out of play for a throw into Real Madrid down the right-hand side. So it is a throw-in to the visitors from the Spanish capital, and they take the throw back into their own half, where Militao will just, with his right foot, see it back to Courtois, out to Camavinga. part of the French World Cup winning squad. This young man with such a bright future, playing in the centre of the midfield. And then Militao wins the throw-in off Cody Gakpo. We'll be keeping an eye as well, Alan Shearer, on just how fit Darwin Nunez appears to be. A shoulder problem as Camavinga is caught in possession. Henderson through to Gakpo, slipped at the crucial moment. He was almost through into the box, and he seemed to be checking back from the position that he was in inside the area when he slipped.
I think he was just trying to get it onto that right foot, just to open the goal up, to see him over the goal and put himself in the middle of the goal. He actually slipped when he did that.
Good from Liverpool, putting Camavinga under pressure.
Well, there's no surprise with the reaction of this crowd before the game. It's inevitable you're going to see a quick start from these Liverpool players, and that's exactly what's happened.
So the former England captain, Alan Shearer, with us here at Anfield, high, very high, in the main stand, just above and to the right of Jurgen Klopp, who's down there already directing his troops. And Stoke have equalised against Swansea in the Championship. Josh Laurent with the equaliser. So it's Swansea 1, Stoke 1. Quite a busy night tonight. So we'll keep you across all of the top matches. And Rotherham have taken the lead against Sunderland. Oliver Rathbone scoring. Rotherham 1, Sunderland 0. Real Madrid playing the ball in from the left-hand side there. Alisson, all in black tonight, able to come out and catch the bouncing ball into his chest.
The Liverpool players are full of energy out there. They're trying to close down as quick as possible and react to this crowd.
So it's back to Alisson, takes a touch on the edge of the box. It's Modric who is there, closing him down, but Liverpool pass it out from the back. And Alexander-Arnold, who was, if you remember, rather caught out by Vinicius Jr in the Champions League final in France last season, turns, plays it up through the middle to Gakpo, comes back to young Bajcetic. Big night for him, the 18-year-old. Now it's on the right-hand side with Salah. Salah approaching the penalty area, slips the ball into the box. A flick from Nunez! What a goal! Liverpool in front early against the holders, and what a huge finish that was! Past fit to play. He looked fit to me when he put that in the net. Liverpool 1, Real Madrid 0.
Wow, what a goal, what a finish. It started with Bajcetic having the confidence and the belief to switch it out to the right-hand side, and then Salah whips that ball in, and the run of Nunez, and then the little flick. I said it was going to be a quick start from Liverpool. I didn't expect this quick.
Just wondering in my mind whether there might be an offside issue with that. And we're just seeing it again now. No, he's onside. He's onside. I'm actually looking at a different television to you, Alan. You've not seen it yet.
I think I'm about 2 seconds behind you on my TV. What a ball in. What a ball in from Salah from the right-hand side with his left foot. He whips it in. And it's about timing of the run from Nunez, and he did it perfectly.
Oh, lovely. We're just seeing it again as it comes in low from the right-hand side from Salah. And I mean, it was a great pass into his path. And Nunez running across it from left to right inside the penalty area. What is he, 7-8 yards out? There's a leap, and with his right heel, as it bounces, it's a flick with the inside of his right heel beyond Courtois and into the net.
It's a fantastic goal. It really is. Everything about it, the pass in from Salah, the timing of the run, and then to get the connection as he did with that right foot. What a goal, what a start.
Liverpool 1, Real Madrid 0, and that's quite a goal. If you can, get yourself into a position where you can see that at some point over the course of the next few hours. And that's raised the roofs inside Anfield, including the one that's not quite finished yet at the Anfield Road end. Ball in for Liverpool to the edge of the box, but Salah turned provider, and Nunez, you know, there was a question over whether he's going to be able to play as Real Madrid come forward with a ball from the right-hand side from Rodrigo. It's Vinicius Jr now on the left-hand side. A flick from Rodrigo, back to Modric. Modric into the D on the edge of the area. Valverde was there as well. Modric couldn't get there, and Liverpool were able to clear. Well, this is quite a start. Stoke are now 2-1 up at Swansea. Josh Laurent scored again, so Swansea 1, Stoke 2. And that goal from Darwin Nunez in the 4th minute. So opening goal on Saturday at St James's Park, opening goal on Tuesday night here at Anfield against Real Madrid. It's not a bad double, that, Alan?
It's not bad at all, is it? It's amazing, isn't it, when you're finding goal scoring so hard to come by, and all of a sudden you get one and then another one comes straight away.
12 for the season for Darwin Nunez. That's his 4th in the Champions League. And remember, Liverpool, who started this Champions League campaign losing 4-1 away against Napoli. Here's Fabinho to the edge of the penalty area. Camavinga with a challenge. Fabinho fell into the box. Referee Kovac says that was a clean challenge by Camavinga, and Benzema then with the flick for Vinicius Jr. But Gomez is able to go with him shoulder to shoulder with Vinicius Jr. and actually beat him to the ball and play it back to Alisson. That epitomises the strong start that Liverpool have made.
That was a vital tackle, that was, from Joe Gomez. Him and Vinicius going 1v1 and he just nudges him away off the ball. Showed great strength there to get to it first.
So Liverpool, great noise already before that goal went in, and there's obviously a smoke bomb, a red smoke bomb has gone off, because I can see that pale red smoke now just drifting up to the roof of the Kop and then out the front of the stadium at the top, and those rectangular red scoreboards now read Liverpool FC 1, Real Madrid 0. 7 minutes on the clock. After all those chances they had in the Stade de France at the end of last season, couldn't beat Thibaut Courtois. Just looking back at it, Alan, some of the saves, you know, we said it at the time, but when you see it again, remarkable really, and that's why it was torture for Jurgen Klopp, I guess, to watch it at the weekend. As Alaba loses possession on the far side, Salah puts his foot on the ball. Salah, who's scored in his last 5 Champions League appearances, the last 5 group matches, played forward by Henderson. Salah into the box now, and he's shrugged off the ball. Excellent defending from the experienced Alaba to go with him, come out with the ball. Then Vinicius Jr, who was blocked by Fabinho, but he knew he wasn't going to get to the ball either, Vinicius Jr, so ran into Fabinho, won the free kick, but I don't think it's going to be any more than that.
We've only been playing 8 minutes, John, and already 2 or 3 times down that Liverpool right-hand side. The goal came from there, then that pass from Henderson in behind for Salah again. They're looking comfortable down that side.
Liverpool 1, Real Madrid 0. Still 0-0 in the other match tonight. Eintracht Frankfurt against Napoli, who won Liverpool's group, and Real Madrid with the ball in front of their own penalty area. Tomorrow night, RB Leipzig against Manchester City, so you'll hear that this time tomorrow, live from inside the stadium in Germany with Ian Dennis and Matt Upson, and I think we'll hear from them at half-time actually in this match. And the England-Belgium game will be on Sports Extra tomorrow night in the Arnold Clark Cup, and we will hear from Serena Wiegmann at half-time as well. But 9 minutes played, 1-0 to Liverpool, and quite a goal from Darwin Nunez. If he scored a better one that so far for Liverpool, I'm not sure if I've seen it. Here's Bajcetic inside his own half. What a night for him, Bajcetic.
He's made a really good start. He played a part in the goal, as did Gakpo. They both had early touches, and they were really good touches, which did not give you confidence in the early part of the game.
Yes, and remember, he is a Spaniard, born in northern Spain, in Vigo. His dad played for Celta Vigo, so well aware of what Real Madrid are all about. And this is his 7th consecutive start, so regular starter now for the number 43. Liverpool with the ball on the right hand side. Salah and Alexander-Arnold together. Salah gets it down, he's got space on the right hand side, right-footed cross towards the edge of the area. It's over everyone. Robertson was arriving, but he had to check back, and then it's given away by Bajcetic. That's how it works, of course. Talk him up, and he gives the ball away. Real Madrid now coming forward with Vinicius Jr. It bounces out to the left-hand side. Benzema, first time we've seen him involved really. Benzema to the edge of the middle of the half to Valverde, who's playing in the central role tonight, the Uruguayan. Now Benzema again. Benzema cutting in from the left-hand side, but Modric, just as he receives the pass, doesn't even attempt to give it back to Benzema, just goes back out to the far side. Luka Modric, at the age of 37. So much of him at the World Cup. Now here he is again. What a career, still going. Don't think he'll ever finish. Now the ball to the right-hand side to Carvajal. Carvajal low into the edge of the penalty area. Rodrigo is there, but Robertson comes across with a challenge just to take it away from him. Real Madrid having their best spell so far. Cross in from the left-hand side, though. That's an easy catch for Alisson. 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, again though, when Liverpool were attacking just 30 seconds ago, it was down that right-hand side again, and they're having to work really hard down there, particularly defensively. Vinicius and Alaba at left back.
Second leg in the Spanish capital in 3 weeks' time. We'll be there for that. And at the moment, with this scoreline, long way to go, but it's set up very interestingly, with that goal, as I say, in the 4th minute. Oh, a heavy touch from Gomez on the edge of his own penalty area. Benzema was onto him. Liverpool haven't got it away. It's back to Benzema. Squares it. Rodrigo with a chance. But Van Dijk is able to come across and just steps into the way of the shot and blocks it away with his left foot. Sloppy from Gomez.
His teammate, or his centre-half partner, helped him out a lot there. What a block that was.
Liverpool breaking away, and Gakpo has been clearly pulled back by Camavinga, but the referee's playing advantage, and Gakpo's found Salah, and Salah approaching the penalty area, beating 2 men and shooting wide of the near post.
God, they look so good going forward, don't they? Gakpo, fantastic, getting that ball again at his feet, getting it and turning, having the strength to push the defender off, then roll the ball out to Salah again on that right-hand side, and he cuts in on that left foot, and you're just waiting for him to hit it on you, and he does hit it, but he just doesn't get the connection that he wanted.
Yeah, just seemed to miss-hit it, really. But I mean, he burst between the two Real Madrid players, and it was cute. He was going for the near bottom corner, wasn't he?
Tried to say to the keeper, don't watch the eyes, didn't he? Where he was looking at the far side, at his right-hand side, and he tried to just pull it back towards the near post.
Liverpool coming forward with Bajcetic, but runs into a nest of white there near the edge of the Real Madrid penalty area. And Militao plays it back to Courtois, who clears from the ground, but that will bounce out of play. Actually, it's bounced right into the hands of the former Everton manager, Carlo Ancelotti, down there. 4 times winner now of the Champions League as a coach. No one's done that. Been involved in 5 Champions League finals as a coach. That's a record as well. And Gomez playing a long pass over the top, but Courtois will come and take that. Apparently, the goal that Nunez scored was the quickest goal that Liverpool have scored at Anfield in the Champions League, which mildly surprising. 4th minute. Norwich have taken the lead against Birmingham City. So Norwich 1, Birmingham 0. Another Nunez, Marcelino Nunez, with the goal for Norwich. 5 Live final score in operation tonight with all of the matches. Valverde hooking the ball infield, but Van Dijk is able to come across and clear it to the halfway line. There's a slip by Henderson in there, then a slip by Camavinga. We've seen quite a lot of that actually from the players of both teams. Henderson now to Gakpo, but it bounces away from him. And Courtois lost it, and Salah scores! Oh, what a slip! What a slip from the great Courtois, the man who almost single-handedly stopped Liverpool in the Champions League final last season. Awful touch, gave it straight to Salah, and Salah said, yep, that'll do for me. And it was in the back of the net in a flash, and it's Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 0, less than 15 minutes on the clock.
What a huge error that is from Courtois. He wasn't really under any pressure. He decides to take another touch foolishly because he can see Salah coming down at him. And he just gets it all wrong, and it falls so kindly for Mo Salah. He says, thank you very much, open goal, 2-0.
Well, of all the things that we might have seen tonight, I wasn't expecting that. He chested it down, and it bounced off his knee. He chested it down, was going to take a touch, bounced up, and when he went to play it, it bounced off his knee on his standing foot, straight into the path of Salah on the corner of the 6-yard box. One touch, left foot, bang, 2-0.
And Salah's not even putting him under pressure. Salah's actually stood off him there until he actually decides to take that other touch and gets it horribly wrong, where it hits his knee and bounces perfectly for Salah.
Nunez in the 4th minute, Salah in the 14th. Salah, who now becomes the top scorer this season in the Champions League, incidentally. That's his 8th goal in the Champions League, and that means he's scored in 6 consecutive Champions League matches now. Blackburn are winning 1-0 up at Ewood Park against Blackpool. So Blackburn 1, Blackpool 0. Tyrese Dolan with the goal there, and the crowd inevitably getting straight onto Courtois when it was played back to him, and this time a sure-footed clearance.
That's what he should have done the first time, instead of trying to take that extra touch. It wasn't a great ball into him, but it wasn't that difficult. To see what he actually did, he took when taking that extra touch. Terrible error.
Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 0. Still 0-0. Eintracht Frankfurt and Napoli. And Real Madrid now, ball swept in from the left-hand side, but it's hooked away by Van Dijk in the penalty area, just in front of the penalty spot. Right foot volleys it out to the far side. I did wonder whether Matip might have played tonight, but Joe Gomez continues in the team. It's 7 starts in a row for him now. Matip on the bench tonight, back alongside Van Dijk, who returned to the team against Newcastle. Now Real Madrid on the right, attacking towards the Kop, down to our right, but the ball in from Carvajal is deflected out of play by Nunez. Comes back to the Real Madrid number 2 after the throw. And now to Militao, the Brazilian World Cup defender. Just carries the ball, just drags it to his left and gives it to Rudiger, Champions League winner with Chelsea in Porto against Manchester City, remember. Rudiger forward towards Modric, who flicks it nonchalantly round about waist height, just got his foot up and with the outside of his boot gave it to the left-hand side to Vinicius. But now on the right, Carvajal heads it into the box. Rodrigo pulls it back, but pulls it back behind Benzema, and Liverpool are able to take possession, and Fabinho plays it downfield. Salah on the stretch can't get to it, and Rudiger is able to see it back to Courtois. Thibaut Courtois on his left foot passes it out into the right back position, and Real Madrid clear.
I shouldn't laugh, John, but the reaction of the crowd makes me.
Yeah, you can't, yeah. And I don't care who you are, you know, Thibaut Courtois, one of the best goalkeepers in the world. So if you've got 50-odd thousand people inside Anfield putting pressure on you like that, when you've made a mistake, a bad mistake just a few minutes earlier, that's going to get to anyone, I don't care. Here's Robertson, right-footed forward, comes off Valverde, bounces into the Real Madrid half, and Militao should deal with that. That's a poor ball away from Militao. He's given it to Bajcetic. Nunez available on the left. That was the pass, actually. We could see it from up here. He went infield, and that gave it back to Real Madrid. However, Fabinho's got it forward of the centre circle. Angle ball from him. Robertson, Salah with a flick, and then headed back by Carvajal to Courtois.
It's panic stations every time it goes into that back four of Real Madrid. The Liverpool players have put that much pressure on them. They seem as if every time they're getting the ball, they're under pressure, and they're making mistakes. And Liverpool are forcing them into them.
That's a series of errors at the back from Real Madrid, giving the ball away. Obviously the Courtois slip that led to the second goal. So Nunez and Salah with the goals. 19 for the season now for Salah. Real Madrid playing the ball out from the back, and Camavinga now to the left-hand side. No Tchouaméni, who stayed at home. He's been ill as well, but Toni Kroos on the bench tonight for Real Madrid, having been flown in this afternoon, recovered from the illness that he had. Didn't travel with the squad last night. Here's Modric on the left-hand side. Modric to Vinicius Jr, and then back to the centre circle. Real Madrid have actually won their last 4 matches, but 2 of them were at the Club World Cup. Ended up playing Al Hilal in the final, but have won their 2 league matches since they returned. 8 points behind Barcelona, who will be here in the northwest of England. Well, they'll be arriving tomorrow, won't they, to play Manchester United on Thursday. It's quite a week, that, isn't it? These 4 clubs all playing in the northwest of England in the same week. Real Madrid with Camavinga out to the left-hand side, taken down by Vinicius. Vinicius Jr now near the left corner of the penalty area, cutting in field, then turning back to Benzema, close quarters. Vinicius Jr again, great footwork. Oh, what a goal! That's incredible! What a finish from Vinicius Jr. How he saw that! There were defenders, 3 of them in front of him. He had to beat Alisson as well, and he whipped it, bent it low into the far bottom corner, and Real Madrid have a goal back, a brilliant goal back. 2-1 Liverpool.
World-class defenders all over him, no space whatsoever. He just picks his spot. He has one little look up and curls that in with his right foot. He looks at that far corner. There's hardly any space. Gomez is trying to close him down. Alisson's got no chance. What a response from Real Madrid that is.
Well, that's changed the mood, which was celebratory when Liverpool were 2-0 up. But that goal in the 21st minute, so 3 goals in the first quarter of the match, first quarter of the first leg, and now it's the Real Madrid fans down there all in white who had been very, very quiet for the first 20 minutes of the match, but suddenly it's all Real Madrid songs in that corner, and flags waving, Spanish national flags, as Henderson wins the ball back from Vinicius in the edge of the area. Salah into the box, but that will just roll through to Courtois. Norwich now 2-0 up on Birmingham. Marcelino with his second goal of the match for Norwich. Norwich 2, Birmingham 0. So, there we are then. Well, when you have quality like that on the field, Alan, you can't do anything about that.
It's just a little message, well, not a little, it's a big message to Liverpool to say we've got world-class players, particularly in forward positions, and that's exactly what they can do. They can punish you.
And there he is again, Vinicius Jr. scored the only goal in the final against Liverpool last season. Scored 2 goals against Liverpool in the quarter-final the season before, when Real Madrid won 3-1 in Madrid, and that did it. That was enough to see them through. And now here he is again, a real thorn in Liverpool's side.
He actually wanted a little one too, I think, with Benzema, because I think Benzema are the ones that actually played it into him. He ran off him thinking he was going to get it back. No chance. He just moved inside, moved the ball 1 yard and whipped it into that far post.
From probably over on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Certainly 20 yards, I would have said. Approaching 20 yards, but it was pinpoint. And Alisson, his view might have been blocked, actually, Alisson, from with all of the defenders who were in there. But anyway, it was hit with such pace. Liverpool coming forward, though, ball from the right-hand side. Robertson plays it across the box, and Rudiger was able to clear it away only to Alexander-Arnold, though. But the bouncing ball, he's lost the bouncing ball, and Camavinga plays it forward for Vinicius Jr. and Real Madrid. It's 4 against 3, and it's played across into the path of Gomez, who was able to readjust and clear it away, and he got that wrong, Vinicius Jr.
And it was good defending, John, from Virgil van Dijk, because he was actually left with him 1v1, and instead of diving in, he just stood up there and didn't panic and forced him into the pass, which is a poor one.
Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 1. Special occasion. It's already been a special match, hasn't it?
We said there was going to be goals, John, didn't we?
Well, we were right.
It's not often.
No. First time for everything. By Cetic. So this is quite a start to what is a really big few days of commentary matches on 5 Live. Let's hope they're all like this. Van Dijk swinging the ball forward towards the far side. Henderson's out there. Comes back in field towards Fabinho. Fabinho back onto his right foot. Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold. Oh, that's a lovely ball through to Henderson, who cuts it back. Salah still going. Bounces down. Nunez still in the 6-yard box. And Real Madrid have cleared it. Carvajal just hacked it away in the end. And I'm not sure quite how that didn't end up in the back of the Real Madrid net.
Well, Trent, Salah, Henderson causing chaos again down their right-hand side, and they get the ball. And how on earth that doesn't end up in the back of the net, with Salah having a go, Nunez having a go, and Real Madrid players throwing themselves at the ball a yard or 2 off their goal line. They managed just to clear it.
The balance of Salah there is incredible when the ball is cut back to him. There are 3 defenders there, and he's twisting and turning, keeps the ball at his feet. I think he back-heeled it goalwards in the end. That was blocked. Fell to Nunez. There's a Real Madrid player down, so we've got a stoppage. Feels like the first stoppage of the match. And we're in the first... We've played 25 minutes now, and it's going to be a throw into Liverpool. The Real Madrid man down. Surrounded by his teammates, so it's not absolutely clear who it is down there.
Is it Alaba?
Could be. But chance for Anfield, actually, just to take a breath here after an incredible first 25 minutes. In the Champions League, we say it time and again, Alan, don't we? And why they want to change it, why they want to tamper with it.
No, you honestly, it baffles me, is because it works, and it works perfectly. And when you see performances and matches like this evening, absolutely, why?
I'm not sure he's going to be able to continue. So that's quite a loss. I think it is Alaba, and I think I've seen the indication there from the medical people that it's a problem. And yeah, Real Madrid are going to make a change. So it's Nacho, I think, the experienced Nacho Fernandez, who is being called forward by Carlo Ancelotti, who's leaning over him, hands in his pockets. just muttering a couple of pearls of wisdom to him. And Alaba, the long-time Bayern Munich man, Champions League winner now with Real Madrid as well, playing in the final last year. Actually played in central defence, if you remember, last year with Mendy at full-back, who's out injured at the moment. And yep, he's been led off the field over on the far side, so this is the first change. And that is it for Alaba, who's just given a little hug there by Eden Militao, consolation. And Nacho is coming on, and he is going to take over there on the far side, on the left. Nacho.
Well, Alaba had a really tough time in those 27 minutes he's actually been on the pitch, because I said it maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, the number of times that Liverpool attacked down that side.
Yeah, Liverpool back underway. Bajcetic hooks the ball across the penalty area and it bounces out and behind. Yes, as our friend Mark Lawrenson would say occasionally in circumstances such as this, maybe it's a problem with twisted blood after being sent this way and t'other by Liverpool. But Salah's had there's another slip in the area by Militao, and he was able to recover and get up and clear it away downfield. It has been an issue. Whether it's been overwatered, I don't know, but the players have slipped on a regular basis.
Yeah, there've been 3 or 4 of them, and Militao's actually still limping there because of that slip.
Gomez clears the ball away downfield. That's Alan Shearer with us here for this dramatic Champions League match here on 5 Live. Ball still in play on the far side. Fabinho stretching forward, that's off his shin. Valverde got his head to it. Camavinga then plays it back into central defence, and it's played back with pace by Rudiger to Courtois, but he was able to deal with that, control it, and Real Madrid pass it out from the back. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 1 is the score. Long ball downfield, that's chested down to a teammate by Alexander-Arnold to Van Dijk. Salah now turning on the halfway line, but Rudiger passes it back to Courtois. This not as pacey, so he was able to watch that onto his left foot and clear it to the halfway line. Modric now back to Camavinga again, who with his hair bobbing gives it via Militao, now to Carvajal on the right hand side, and then Rodrigo back in field to Carvajal, angles it back to Valverde, 30 yards out, square from him to Modric, left foot, then to the edge of the box to Benzema. Modric again to the left hand side, Vinicius clips it into the back post. Carvajal couldn't quite get to it because Nunez came across and was able to head it behind for a corner.
It's really good work from Nunez. We saw what he can do at the other end, but that's what you've got to do as well. You've got to do your little bit defensive, and he certainly did there. Corner. Otherwise Carvajal was in at that far post.
Corner then for Real Madrid. First corner of the match, actually. Half an hour played. Modric just runs his fingers through his fair hair, headband on, and the referee's blowing his whistle, so Modric's delivery is academic. He'll have to do it again, and it's Fabinho and Benzema who are being spoken to. Benzema continues to talk to the referee. Benzema coming back for this match. He's had a bruising on his leg. That was the issue that kept him out at the weekend. Modric then with the corner, comes off a Real Madrid head, right to Vinicius at the back. Vinicius shoots across. That's an excellent save by Alisson. Cross shot from the far side of the box, bang on target. Would have gone in the same corner that he scored his first goal, but Alisson was up to it this time.
He's almost identical from exactly the same position. He moves it again onto his right foot. This time Alisson just managed to get to his left-hand side and down low. It's a fantastic effort again.
And a good save by Alisson. Yeah, he was at full extension there, got his left glove to it. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 1. Be half-time coming up in the 7:45 kickoffs tonight, so I'll run you through those when we get them all in. We're going to go to Millwall in a moment, but Henderson gives it to Bajcetic, who has shrugged off the ball. Real Madrid have got it back. Camavinga might have been fouled by Fabinho. Referee plays the advantage. Benzema back to Modric, 25 yards out, into the edge of the area. Rodrigo, and then Valverde slashes his shot, and it lands halfway up the Kop.
Well, first of all, Camavinga did well to win the ball and then release it. into the little magician of Modric into that into the midfield, and the balance and the technique that he's showing out there is just incredible, considering his age. And they move the ball to that right-hand side. I think it's Valverde that actually takes the shot on when he had other options in the middle, you know. And luckily for Liverpool, he put it high into the cup.
Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 1. 5 Live, BBC Sounds. If you're on the move, of course, you can listen to the live radio wherever you are. Liverpool playing the ball out from the back. We're going to go to the Den when we get a chance, because it is half-time there. The leader's Burnley. Here's Fabinho playing it up towards Henderson, who chests it off. And then Alexander-Arnold, it might have bounced up into the arm of Vinicius. It is. It's a free kick to Liverpool on the halfway line. So come in from East London, Aaron Paul.
We're in deep south. Millwall 0, Burnley 0. The league leaders have dominated large parts of this half, but have been frustrated by Millwall, who have boxed clever. George Long has saved well from Anas Zori. Zian Fleming has come closest for the home side. 0-0.
Half-time, Blackburn 1, Blackpool 0. Norwich 2, Birmingham 0. Swansea 1, Stoke City 2. And they're still playing Rotherham and Sunderland in the first half. And it is 1-0 to Rotherham, as Carvajal heads the ball out of play. League One half-time's coming up, but Liverpool in possession on the halfway line with Bajcetic. Square to Gomez, and then Gomez low to the right-hand side. Salah with a first-time touch into the path of Henderson on the right. Henderson back to Salah, bounces off Valverde into the path of Salah almost. Salah then is able to get there first. Play it to the left-hand side to Robertson. Comes back to the edge of the penalty area. Gakpo is after that, but he slipped again. Gakpo then wins it back from Nacho, and Gakpo's cross is over everyone in red and is hooked away by Valverde on the edge of the box.
The mistakes at the back of Real Madrid are just incredible. They're inviting Liverpool onto them. I mean, Salah and Nunez look as if having the field day there. Every time they get the ball, they're looking dangerous and under pressure.
So jittery, don't they, Real Madrid? Salah carrying the ball between two defenders, blocked by the third on the edge of the area, but Real Madrid so dangerous on the break. Although Jordan Henderson does extremally well to come back and take the ball away from Vinicius. Half-time in League One, Fleetwood 0, Cambridge United 0, and Morecambe 0, Port Vale 0. And in League Two, this is easy. All 4 matches in League Two at half-time are 0-0. 1-1 between Hamilton and Inverness in the Championship in Scotland at half-time, and Albion Rovers 0, Elgin City 0 at half-time also. Ball with Liverpool on the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold comes across, and the ball's chipped out of play. And it's a throw into Liverpool down the right-hand side that is taken by the Liverpool right-back, who incidentally is a yellow card away from suspension in the Champions League. Ball in from him to the back post with Robertson arriving, but it was just a little too high. Defender might have got a touch, must have done. It's out of play. It's a throw-in to Liverpool down the left, which is taken by Nunez back to nearer the halfway line to Bajcetic, and then Fabinho goes back into his own half. And Liverpool with Fabinho, right-footed ball, cross-field, taken down by Salah. Salah running at Nacho, the 33-year-old, the substitute. And then Salah with a touch onto Nacho, who kept it in, did well actually. Modric inside his own half. He gives it away, Modric, but Alexander-Arnold couldn't take advantage. Bounces down centrally. Bajcetic does well, but then gives it to Valverde. And now Real Madrid, Valverde with a pass through the middle. Gomez on the chase. Gomez plays it back to Vinicius. Oh, Alisson's clearance has gone in. It's hit Vinicius. Oh my goodness, it's 2-2 at Anfield. And Alisson's clearance charged down by Vinicius Jr. and agonisingly bounced off him and looped gently on the bounce into the back of the Liverpool net in front of the Kop. And it's Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2. First the error at one end from Courtois, now one at the other from Alisson.
I cannot believe what I'm seeing, John, in terms of the number of errors that have been made out on the pitch in this first half already from both keepers. Courtois, you mentioned it, horrific error earlier on, and that's another one. That's all you can say there from Alisson. I don't know what he's thinking. He's trying to play the ball out instead of getting rid of it. Your team are leading, just get rid and try to instead of trying to play it out. He just whacks it onto Vinicius. He hasn't got a clue where it's going. Fortunately for him and Real Madrid, it goes in the back of the net. But goodness me, Alisson, just clear it. It's not on.
In the 14th minute, Liverpool were 2-0 up and Anfield was rocking. Now in the 37th minute, it's 2-2 and Vinicius Jr has done it again. 2 goals against Liverpool in the quarter-final the season before last, the winning goal in the Champions League final against Liverpool at the end of last season, and now 2 goals here at Anfield to bring Carlo Ancelotti's side back from, well, they weren't on the precipice exactly, but they were really rocking. 2-2. What a first half, though.
What we said before the game is that because the experience that Real Madrid have, they don't panic in situations like this. They've been in these situations before. They believe that their ability will get them through, and they didn't panic at all.
No, that's something that Jurgen Klopp touched on yesterday about their pedigree. The pedigree of Real Madrid. When you play for that club, you're not going to lose the plot, basically, because it's drilled into you. You've got a manager like Carlo Ancelotti who, you know, he's never going to be too much either one way or the other. Carlo Ancelotti, just about all you get from him is one eyebrow raised and then back it goes into place again.
He's very laid back, isn't he?
It is still Plymouth 0, Cheltenham 0, by the way, in the Papa John's Trophy semi-final. That was an 8 o'clock kickoff as well, like this one. So it's 2-2. Well, if this tie continues like this, we've still got 3 halves of it to go, then this could be anything. Liverpool with it in their own half. Liverpool, who've lost just once here this season in all competitions. The win for Leeds United, for Jesse Marsh's Leeds United. But now at 2-2, obviously anything could happen tonight. Here's Henderson on the right-hand side, back infield towards Alexander-Arnold. Napoli have taken the lead against Eintracht Frankfurt in Germany. The Italian league leaders scoring through their main man, the much-wanted Victor Osimhen. Van Dijk to Robertson, and then Van Dijk in his own half. So Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Napoli 1. Half-time, around about 6 minutes plus added time away here. There won't be much of that, although we had the injury to Alaba. He has Gakpo on the edge of the area on his Liverpool Champions League debut. Chests it down, but it bounces away from him, and it's cleared away downfield by Rudiger. Liverpool with Gomez. It was Gomez's pass back to Alisson that led to the second Vinicius goal. But I don't think you can apportion any blame to him. He'd actually done well against Vinicius. Ball played over the top down the right-hand side, drilled across by Darwin Nunez on the volley from near the dead ball line. Robertson's kept it in. No, he hasn't kept it in. And it's a throw into Real Madrid halfway inside their own half, Alan Shearer.
Nearly 40 minutes gone. I can't believe it. I don't want it to end. It's incredible. What a half we've had.
We've already had 90 minutes worth of action.
It's unbelievable.
Or 90 minutes worth of incident.
It's incredible. From the very first minute when those players walked out onto the pitch, the atmosphere was electric. And then Liverpool went after Real Madrid, and then we thought, here we go, 2 goals up. But because of that experience and that know-how, and they didn't panic, they've got themselves back into the game, albeit having Alisson to thank.
I was going to say to you when Liverpool were 2-0 up, but we didn't get the chance. In Europe, under Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool have played the first leg of European ties at home 6 times, and they've gone through all 6 occasions. However, it's now 2-2, and it's right back in the balance. Benzema back to Vinicius Jr on a hat-trick. He wouldn't count that out. Comes back to Alisson, and takes a touch and then passes it out with the angle to the left-hand side. And Robertson now rolls it forward, kept in play by Militao, and then Carvajal running across it when the ball was off the field, stops Robertson getting to it quickly. Bit of experience there, and Liverpool take the throw back into their own half. So dramatic night here at Anfield. We'll hear from Germany at half-time. Ian Dennison and Matt Upson have made their way there today, so looking ahead to RB Leipzig against Manchester City. We'll hear what Pep Guardiola had to say. On Thursday night, you will hear Manchester United Barcelona live from Old Trafford here on 5 Live with Alistair Bruce Ball and Peter Schmeichel, who's here tonight. Peter, And then all building up to the big game on Sunday, Alan. Newcastle United against Manchester United. Will be at Wembley for that. Here's Robertson on the left-hand side, but Rodrigo's able to come across. Chip forward to Rodrigo, who just keeps it in front of the darkly dressed Carlo Ancelotti, and Liverpool put it out of play for a throw-in.
There are some seriously talented forward players out on that pitch tonight, whether it's Salah coming in on his left side on that from the right, or whether it's Vinicius Jr on the left side as well. I mean, there's some incredible football and touches. And you're looking at it up close as we are here.
Bajcetic comes in on the challenge with Carvajal, bounces away to Nunez. Camavinga now, he's been fouled by Nunez. Goes sprawling down to the turf, and that'll be a free kick to Real Madrid in their own right back position. See, very often you'll see matches like this, you know, first halves like this, goals, action, incident, and then second half things sometimes will calm down, and very often you won't see a goal in the second half. But
don't talk it down, John. Come on.
I was just going to say, I'm not making any of those kind of predictions with this match. So there we are. Should make it clear as well, you won't be with us on Sunday. You'll not have your broadcasting head on.
No, I'll hopefully have some other head on, yeah.
Sensible head?
Well, that depends on the result, or the score, yeah.
2.5 minutes to go to half-time, and it is Gomez who is tripped by Valverde in the centre circle. Free kick to Liverpool. They'd absolutely love it, this place, to see Liverpool get back in front before half-time. Robertson on the left-hand side. So far, well, it's got the makings of a minor classic. Here's Fabinho moving away from Valverde. Say minor because it is the last 16. Here's Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Salah's out there as well. Just sense there's more from Salah yet in this match as well, the way that he's been. Bajcetic to Van Dijk, and Liverpool work it to the left-hand side to Robertson. And now Nunez, who started it all with that brilliantly flicked goal to put Liverpool 1-0 up in the 4th minute. Cleared by Real Madrid, but only to Bajcetic, who angles it through to Alexander-Arnold, who's in the middle, bounces back to Bajcetic, who slips as he plays it forward. Big shouts for handball from everyone in a red scarf. And the referee says, yes, it was a handball. Real Madrid don't like that decision. Modric, several of them around the referee complaining about that. I'm not sure there's much Modric could have done about that.
No, it was rather close, wasn't it?
Oh, that's a bonus.
What a half he's had though by Cecic.
Yeah, brilliant.
18 years of age. Yeah. How comfortable does he look on the ball? Nerveless. In every position, taking it under pressure, spraying it around.
They're like that at that age though, Alan.
I'm sure I was like that.
And then when they get a little bit older, suddenly you're aware of all of the things that can go wrong. Well, Trent Alexander-Arnold's already scored with a brilliant free kick in this Champions League campaign. Remember the goal against Rangers? It wasn't far away from here. I think maybe slightly to the left and slightly closer from memory. But good position for him. It'll be approaching 25 yards out. And he's now got the ball in his hands, the Champions League ball. Leans over, bends down, gives it a bounce on the floor, catches it, and then puts it in position. And now 2-3 steps away to his left. Real Madrid wall just outside the box. Alexander-Arnold with the free kick for Liverpool, curls it around the wall, but close enough to Courtois to be able to take a couple of little steps to his right and tap it down.
Yeah, he read it well, didn't he? He sort of thought it was going there, and it did.
Valverde now as Real Madrid break forward. Here's Vinicius again, pulls it across, Rodrigo in the middle, and a crucial tackle by Robertson in the 6-yard box, just as Rodrigo was thinking he was going to put Real Madrid in front.
Wow, what a tackle from Robertson at that far post. They do to Liverpool what Liverpool like to do to other teams, is hit them on the break down the left-hand side with Vinicius, and he whips that ball in, and Rodrigo's just about to tap it in 2 yards out. Robertson gets his toe there and kicks it out for a corner.
Absolutely crucial moment defensively for Liverpool from Robertson. Corner then, Modric, the outswinger is over Rudiger, headed away by Van Dijk behind him. And now Liverpool look to break, although Salah back heels it to Alexander-Arnold, who whips the ball forward, long and forward to Nunez. Carvajal backs away from him. He leaves it actually to Modric. Nunez now taking the ball into the full-back position, still against Modric. Onto his right foot, plays it back, up the line to Bajcetic. Square from him to the shaven-headed Brazilian, Fabinho, and then back to Van Dijk, who will just pull the ball to the right-hand side to Gomez. We're into added time at the end of the first half. Henderson now slips the ball past the defender, still going Henderson. Dive comes in, I think from Valverde. I thought it might have struck him on the arm, but it bounced behind. It can't have done, otherwise we would have heard about it from the Liverpool supporters, and in the end it's a goal kick.
Oh, the game is so open. Both teams struggling defensively. Just the midfield, a lack of protection from both teams. When Liverpool go through, they look such a threat, and exactly the same with Real Madrid. When they attack Liverpool at this cop end, you think every time they're going to score.
That was a huge moment, the Rodrigo chance that Robertson, I mean, he had to get that right, and somehow was able to deflect it. I mean, the goal was almost at Rodrigo's mercy if he'd been able to get past Robertson, but he blocked it wide and behind. Long and forward for Liverpool to Nunez near the edge of the box, and then Rudiger is able to clear, and the ball bounces out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Liverpool. We're in the 3rd minute of added time now. At the end of the first half, 3 minutes were indicated, and here's Salah on the right-hand side, twisting, turning, might have been fouled by Rudiger. Referee says play on. Fabinho, left-footed, no, he's put too much on that, and it drifts away. He's saying that it might have taken a touch off the head of a Real Madrid defender, but it's goal kick that is given by referee Kovac.
I think they wanted a free kick. Salah was upended. I think it was Rudiger that took him out there, and that's what the Liverpool players were moaning at the referee.
That's Henderson's actually gone across to speak to the referee and is making the point that we would have preferred a free kick in the full-back position there.
It was a really dangerous position if they had given it as well. That's what they wanted and should have had.
Yeah, well, the referee's actually played 2 or 3 very good advantages in that first half, so he's maybe getting a bit giddy with that and thought he would let it go there as well. But there we are. That has been a thoroughly entertaining first half of Champions League football. 2-2 the score. Liverpool 2-0 up. The early goal from Nunez, that was a brilliant flick from Salah's pass. And then Salah himself scoring the second after a monumental error by Thibaut Courtois, who miscontrolled it straight into the path of Salah. But then Real Madrid and Vinicius had their great moments. A super finish from Vinicius, just when it seemed that Real Madrid were out of it, but they're never out of it. Brilliant goal, low cross shot, and then the error from Alisson at the other end. Straight into Vinicius with his clearance, and the ball bounced into the net, and that crucial clearance as well at the end from Robertson off Vinicius. But I don't know what you want to pick out from that, Alan, but take your pick.
Well, the cameras didn't know who to pan onto there at the end. First of all, they went to Thibaut Courtois for his error, and then of course when Alisson was near in the changing rooms, they sort of panned on to him. That doesn't tell the true story, though. There's been some fantastic forward play from Salah and from Nunez in several occasions, but the star of the show in that first half was Vinicius Jr. Every time he got that ball out on the left-hand side, he's looked so dangerous. But what a half it's been. More of the same the second, please.
So Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2, and I'm intrigued to know where Kelly is going to go first with you after that. so what are you thinking?
I'll be honest, I was just listening to what you were saying and trying to pick up the pieces. I mean, what an extraordinary first half. How do you even start to make sense of that? There were, yes, defensive issues that you highlighted in commentary, and yes, there were goalkeeping errors from both Courtois and from Alisson. But as you sort of touched on there with Vinicius Jr, the attacking play in this game has been fantastic, Alan.
It has from both sides, Kelly, particularly from Liverpool, down that right-hand side with Salah and his link-up play, whether it's Henderson or little 1-2s with Bajcetic or Trent Alexander-Arnold. They've got their number in that position and they look so dangerous. But on the other side of that, Real Madrid down their left-hand side with Vinicius Jr, the little 1-2s with Modric and Benzema. Wow, what a player. A great technique, and his first goal when he had no right to get his shot away when there was 2 or 3 Liverpool defenders around him, and for him to manage to get it past Alisson and bend it into that far post. Incredible ability. So, yeah, what a half.
Yeah, what a half as well. And on Mo Salah as well. That's 44 goals in the Champions League. That's the joint highest tally for an African player, level with Didier Drogba now. He's gone past Steven Gerrard's European goal-scoring record for Liverpool. And he's a player who started the season slowly, as many of the Liverpool side did, but seems to be coming back into form.
He probably won't get an easier one though, Kelly, will he?
I tell you what, Alan, you do need a break, and I know you also need to get your monitors fixed. Alan Shearer and John Murray are at Anfield for us. We've got Adam Lallana.
Kelly. The match has blown up the monitor.
We've got Adam Lallana joining us as well, of course, at Brighton now, but former Liverpool player, has been part of some of these big nights at Anfield in the Champions League. But Adam, this one has been a special 45 minutes.
God, I was worried you were waiting on me there again, Kelly. Yeah.
No, it's definitely Alan.
What a first half. I mean, Alan said he expected goals, and there was goals and a lot more. I mean, it went exactly how Liverpool and Jurgen would have wanted the game to go. Fast start, fans were up, 2 goals. And they'll be so disappointed they let them back in. I mean, you said about Madrid's first goal, there was a lot of bodies around it. I just think Gomez will be slightly disappointed. He went to block the ball with his wrong foot, but a hell of a finish.
Fantastic finish from Vinicius Jr. And he's just had a brilliant first half. He's the youngest visiting player to score twice against Liverpool at Anfield in a major European competition since Johan Cruyff in December 1996 when he played for Ajax. And it was a brilliant first half for him. From Liverpool, as Alan Shearer was saying, there were so many opportunities for them. Do you feel that if we're going to be picky here, they could have been a bit more clinical?
Maybe, yeah. Like down Liverpool's right-hand side, Jordan was making overlapping runs. They had a couple of other attempts on goal. But I think to be 2-0 up at home to Madrid, you'd take that. And then you've just got to be a bit more solid and consolidate at the back. And I'm surprised they've let them back in as early as they have. Obviously, the momentum's now shifted probably slightly with Madrid, so it'll be interesting to see how the second half plays out.
And obviously Salah's goal came from the error from Courtois, and then Madrid's second goal came from the error from Alisson, who's got Liverpool out of so many difficult situations so far this season. But this time, he has to hold his hands up, doesn't he? Yeah,
and he will. He's the type of guy that will hold his hands up. He's honest. He'll come in and he'll react well from it. It was so surprising for that to happen, especially after Courtois had a moment of madness, or as what you'd call. But he just kicked it straight into the player, and it's gone straight in the net. Very surprised.
The thing is, you don't get the impression that this game is going to slow down in the second half, do you?
I hope not as well. Not for us, and not for for everyone watching. It was magnificent tie, and exactly what the Champions League deserves.
Adam, for now, thank you very much. Adam Lallana with us on 5 Live Sport. It's Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 2 at Anfield, and there's another 45 minutes of that game still to come. We'll be looking ahead to that one, and the second half should kick off in less than 10 minutes, I think, at Anfield. We'll bring you up to date with the other score in the Champions League between Frankfurt and Napoli very shortly. It's also a busy night in the EFL. Aaron Paul is at the Den for Millwall against Burnley. There's been a goal, Aaron.
There has. Deadlock broken here, Kelly. Millwall 0, Burnley 1. The visitors finally get the goal they've been looking for. It's come courtesy of Ashley Barnes. Burnley worked the ball into the Millwall box, right to Lev Zaroury to Scott Twine, who shot initially from around the penalty spot. That cannoned off a defender up into the air and into the path of Ashley Barnes, who smashed it past George Long in front of those Burnley fans to my left. But Millwall have a free kick in a very promising position to my right. George Saville and Zian Fleming standing over it. 24, 25 or so yards away from goal, right of centre. Here comes Saville, swings it into the area, and Muric can gather cleanly. Millwall 0, Burnley 1, 54 minutes gone.
Aaron, thank you very much. So Aaron Paul will keep us up to date with that game. Elsewhere in the Championship, Blackburn are 1-0 up at home to Blackpool. Norwich are leading Birmingham by 2-1. It's Rotherham 1, Sunderland 0. Swansea 1, Stoke 2. In League One, it's goalless between Fleetwood and Cambridge. Morecambe 1-0 up against Port Vale. And in League Two, all goalless. Grimsby against Harrogate, Hartlepool against Newport County, Rochdale against Stockport, and Walsall against Crewe Alexandra. Also goalless in the EFL Trophy playoff between Plymouth and Cheltenham. And that other game in the Champions League, we're talking about that round of 16 first leg between Eintracht Frankfurt and Napoli. At half-time, Napoli are 1-0 up away from home. But the big news in the EFL today is that Gareth Ainsworth has left Wycombe after more than a decade to take charge at QPR. Matt Bloomfield replaces him at Adams Park. Earlier today in the Women's T20 World Cup, England beat Pakistan by 114 runs after they posted the highest total in the competition's history in their innings. They'll now meet South Africa, who beat Bangladesh by 10 wickets earlier this evening. That match is on Friday. The first semi-final between Australia and India will be on Thursday, and you'll be able to listen to both matches on 5 Sports Extra. We will be back to Anfield very shortly for the second half of Liverpool against Real Madrid. 4 goals in the first half, second half coming up there. We'll also hear from England boss Serena Wiegman as well after the BBC News with Nick Qureshi.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Next week's 48-hour nurses' strike in England has been suspended. A joint statement from the Royal College of Nursing and the Department of Health says intensive talks will now take place over pay terms and conditions. Joe Biden has insisted Russia will never achieve victory in Ukraine. Speaking in Poland, the US president said the democracy of the world had grown stronger following Vladimir Putin's invasion. Earlier, the Russian leader accused Western allies of starting the war. Asda and Morrison's are limiting purchases of some fruit and veg as supermarkets face shortages of fresh produce. Extreme weather affecting harvests in Spain and North Africa is largely to blame. Scotland's Finance Secretary Kate Forbes says at the moment she is still in the running to lead the SNP and the country. She's lost the support of several backers over her religious beliefs. And Dan Walker says a helmet saved his life in a bike crash. The TV presenter was hit by a car in Sheffield yesterday.
This year, as part of Red Nose Day, you could win an iconic BBC prop. Maybe one of Villanelle's suits from Killing Eve. Or a judge's badge from RuPaul's Drag Race. Go, go, go! Get involved this Red Nose Day and help people through the toughest times of their lives. And be in with a chance of winning something amazing from the BBC. Oi, not the mic! Go to bbc.co.uk/Red Nose Day for information on how to enter, donate, terms and privacy notice. You must be 18 or over. The giveaway closes at 11:59pm on Saturday, 18th of March 2023.
This is 5 Live Sport with Kelly Cates.
And our Champions League commentary this evening. Round of 16, first leg at Anfield between Liverpool and Real Madrid, which was, of course, last season's Champions League final, is 2-2 after 45 minutes. The Champions League commentary continues tomorrow with Ian Dennis leading the team in Germany.
Well, Manchester City resume their Champions League campaign, of course, tomorrow as they're aiming to reach the quarter-finals for a 6th successive season. But they're going to be without both De Bruyne and Laporte because here in Germany tonight, Pep Guardiola has revealed that they're going to miss the game through illness. And indeed, they are now doubtful for the weekend trip to Bournemouth in the Premier League. But it's the Champions League, of course, that we're going to be concentrating on, and it's a competition that Guardiola has had so much success in as a player and as a manager, although his last triumph was actually 12 years ago. But you're going to hear him now in a rather philosophical mood, a reflective mood, and also one in which he reveals, interestingly, regarding a change of mentality since he's been in charge at Manchester City.
I would say if my career finished tomorrow, literally tomorrow, I will be more than blessed and grateful what I've done with the Barcelona, Bayern Munich and here in Europe or in the competition. So I could never ever expect to have the career I had in the short time. I don't know how far we'll go, but the dream is go forward, do a good game tomorrow, go to the quarterfinals. So this is the point. But of course, it's a nice competition. You know, it's in England. You can take a plane. We dress beautiful to fly, and we want to do our best. And our best, I have the illusion to do quarterfinals. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So at the end, the destiny is already written, and we do our best what they have done. We have been close, sometimes not, sometimes closer. So whatever I'm doing personally with the future, what I've done in this past, I'm going to fail. Nothing will be enough. So that's why when I learned that, I mentioned, I said, we just have fun, enjoy being here in this press conference after a good dinner with good wine, and watch Madrid and Liverpool, Madrid, prepare well the game, let them feel the players. Let's go, guys, try to do it again, and that's all.
So that was Pep Guardiola, and here we are back in Leipzig, and with me is the former England international defender Matthew Upson. And Matt, Guardiola there basically talking about the pressure that Manchester City are as a club, that they've got to try and win everything, and he revealed that change of mentality, that he's just going to enjoy it. You've got to admire that, haven't you?
Yeah, I think you have to admire it, but also perhaps it's essential. And perhaps that's the reason why he's having this change of philosophy, because the pressure can sometimes be too much. And ultimately, when you do your best and you prepare your best and give it everything you can, then you see where you lie. And Manchester City, for me, are a team that if they do that, they're capable of winning the Champions League, which is what they want ultimately. So it's a slight change of reflection. I understand that. Maybe that's to let the players know that, of course, they want to win, but also they just want to go out and do their best, give the best account of themselves they possibly can, and see what happens.
The only trouble is if he's trying to play it all down and he's saying, I'm going to enjoy it, I'm going to have good company, I'm going to watch the Liverpool game, I'm going to have a glass of red wine, which certainly I have to admire that. The only thing is that minutes beforehand in the same room, Nathan Ake was talking about, it's quite clear over the last few years, this is obvious, this is the trophy we want to win. So it quite clearly is the trophy that they crave, and the players know it.
Yeah, of course. I think everyone at the club knows it. Guardiola has a great history with the Champions League and hasn't won it with Manchester City, so I'm sure he's desperate too. But I think that is more for himself, for the players, even though Nathan Ake may say that. But I think it's just a message for everyone to say, look, we're not robots, we're not superhuman, but we're going to go and do our best. And if we do our best, we're capable of winning. So it's a slightly more relaxed approach to what he's trying to say, but I'm sure behind the scenes is his usual intense self.
Thank you very much to Ian Dennis and to Matt Upson. Commentary of RB Leipzig against Man City at 8 o'clock tomorrow on 5 Live, and on 5 Sports Extra at 7:45. England take on Belgium in the deciding game of the Arnold Clark Cup at Ashton Gate. Both sides have won their opening 2 matches, but England are top of the table on goal difference. In the Champions League round of 16 first leg this evening, Napoli are 1-0 up in Germany against Eintracht Frankfurt, and an extraordinary first 45 minutes between Liverpool and Real Madrid. 2-2 at half-time as both sets of players make their way out onto the pitch for the second half. Taking you through it, Alan Shearer and John Murray.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. Welcome everyone back inside Anfield. Yes, it was thrilling, exciting, dramatic. No further substitutions at the start of the second half, so Liverpool as they were: Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Gomez, Van Dijk and Robertson, Henderson, Fabinho and Bajcetic, Salah, Gakpo and Nunez. So Nunez and Salah scoring, put Liverpool 2-0 up, but they came from 2-0 down to make it 2-2, and Real Madrid's team, Courtois, Carvajal, Militao, Rudiger and substitute Nacho, Valverde, Camavinga and Modric, Rodrigo, Benzema and 2-goal Vinicius Jr. Second half begins, Liverpool all in red, Real Madrid all in white, shimmering white. The lights are on at Anfield. It's quite a mild night actually for February, and Liverpool playing it through the middle, flicked by Gakpo but into the path of Carvajal, who will clear it away. Camavinga now running, but he's been chopped down by Henderson. That's a free kick. And with us tonight for this spectacle is the former England captain, Alan Shearer.
It can't be like that first half again, can it, John?
Well, you ticked me off in the first half for suggesting that it wouldn't be. So strap yourself in. Here we go. Rudiger to the left-hand side to Vinicius. Vinicius takes on Alexander-Arnold. Ball runs into the full-back position. Gomez comes across. Quite a strong challenge. Yeah, it's given us a free kick. I can see why they're disappointed. Real Madrid fans are behind that, the line of that for the referee. They were up in arms, whether that played a part, but I think it was a free kick.
It was a free kick, I thought it was, yeah. He's carried on as he just left the first half. Vinicius, first touch, gets that ball, goes in behind the defender, says what you got, and he wins his team a free kick in a dangerous position.
So this is 5 Live, BBC Sounds. Welcome as well to listeners on BBC Radio Merseyside with us tonight. You're very welcome to be joining us. And it's a free kick, 2-2 the score. Free kick, Modric standing over it. Little Modric with his long white shorts right down almost to the top of his socks, standing just near the dead ball line. Liverpool have packed the 6-yard box. Rudiger's making a nuisance of himself in there, waiting for the delivery. Here it comes from Modric, plays it in low, and it's headed in at the near post, and it's 3-2 to Real Madrid. And Eder Militao, the central defender, stole in amongst all of those red shirts, and Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid have come from 2-0 down here at Anfield to lead 3-2.
Well, I said it was in a dangerous position. I didn't think he'd get a free header, Militao, like he did. There's no one around him. Liverpool players are all static. He just runs in, unchallenged, unmarked, says thank you very much, free header, 3 yards out, 3-2. Good ball in from Modric, he whips it in there, but Militao, he just drifts in there. There's no one even with him. Comes from the far post, gets in between the Liverpool defenders, gets it on target. Simple goal. Far too simple from a Liverpool point of view.
Alan, that's like, it was like defending against statues.
The statues would have had more movement, I think, than the Liverpool defenders there.
And that's remarkable. Liverpool defenders, had their positions, and Militao just ran in between them and headed it in.
Well, we spoke before the game about Newcastle winning every set piece at the weekend with 10 men.
As Gomez hands off Vinicius, 15 yards inside the Liverpool half. What a turn of events this is. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 3. That goal 3 minutes into the second half. And Jordan Henderson has come across to argue Gomez's case, but there was an arm, wasn't there? There was an arm that caught him. That wasn't a yellow card, was it? I don't think it was. Don't think it was. So it's a free kick to Real Madrid that Modric, who took the free kick for that third goal. So after 15 minutes, Liverpool were winning 2-0. And honestly, if you weren't listening then, the noise inside Anfield was something else. But Real Madrid, the champions, the European champions, the recently crowned Club World Cup winners, they have shown their character, shown what they're all about, really. Modric playing the ball down into the Liverpool left-back position, where it's controlled by Van Dijk and played forward, and then Robertson wins a throw-in. And I can't help but look down there on Carlo Ancelotti. Obviously one of his most agonising days in football. Despite all of his Champions League final wins, it was probably the one that he didn't win, when his AC Milan side, well, you know the rest. And now, look at this. Look what his team has done here at Anfield. How much must he be enjoying this? As Gakpo is chopped down on the halfway line, and Eder Militao is going to be told off. And that's a final warning from the Romanian referee, Istvan Kovac, on the halfway line. I see Rotherham are winning 2-1 now against Sunderland. So they got themselves 2-0 up, but Joe Gelhardt has scored, I think, his first goal for Sunderland on loan from Leeds. Rotherham 2, Sunderland 1. And Liverpool with it on the right-hand side. 5 Live final score in operation tonight, in full swing as well. It's on all outlets, Red Button, iPlayer, BBC Sport website and app, to listen to the 5 Live commentary on this match alongside the video printer and the final score graphics. Real Madrid with Valverde, who turns into trouble, turns into Gakpo. So Liverpool in the second half attacking towards the Kop. They need them. They need everything now.
Well, just going back to that goal that they've just conceded. I mean, you can't defend like that at any level, let alone against one of the best teams in European football with some of the best players in European football. You've got to get tight. It's simple. From a set piece just outside the box, pick up your man.
Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 3. And here's Vinicius on the left-hand side, plays the ball into Henderson, who moved his right foot across, caught the ball on it, but that's sent it spinning behind for another corner to Real Madrid. So this is another set piece for Liverpool to have to defend, and it's been heart-in-mouth stuff. This is really what we were talking about at St James's Park, if you were listening on Saturday evening to the commentary, about the vulnerability at the back. Corner is taken short, actually, by Modric to Vinicius. Vinicius gets it back. Modric as well. Benzema is out there. That's a slight worry for Liverpool that Benzema has not got in on the act yet, as Modric slings over the cross, which lands beyond the far post and behind for a goal kick to Liverpool. So goal kick it is. The Alisson passes out. Then back to Van Dijk inside the area. Anfield absolutely packed here tonight. Of course it would be. For a match like this, a night like this, Liverpool, who have not won in their last 6 matches against Real Madrid, all of them in the Champions League. After 15 minutes, It looked as though that might be coming to an end and Liverpool were going to have some triumph against Real Madrid. But now they will do very well to turn this around to a winning position again. But it's been a night, it's been a fraught night, and it's one of those evenings where, I don't know about you, Alan, I think probably there will be more goals. And Alexander-Arnold plays it across, and Nunez was arriving, might have been shoved in the back by Carvajal, went sprawling in the box. He's gone down. Referee Kovac is not interested in that. I think he's going to leave it to VAR.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a penalty. I thought he was looking for it.
Gakpo now with it on the left-hand side. 3 defenders with him. He's managed to find the ball to Robertson. Robertson's ball across is blocked to the edge of the penalty area. Modric getting it away, and then it's swung away, thrashed away on the volley, halfway up the lower tier of the Sir Kenny Dalglish stand. And they've got the ball back quickly. Liverpool, Henderson, now middle of the half almost. High ball out to the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold, when Liverpool have probed and put Real Madrid under pressure, they've caused problems. That's what they're trying to do now. Henderson's ball to the back post is headed out by Rodrigo, 5 or 6 yards from the corner flag. Robertson takes a quick throw back to Bajcetic. Infield it comes to Fabinho, the tall number 3, just turns to his left. The teenager Bajcetic is there with the red socks down near his ankles now, to Alexander-Arnold, who beats Vinicius. Left-footed ball in onto the head of Rudiger, who got good distance on that header, and Henderson, if he's not careful, is going to be beaten to it by Vinicius, and that's a short back pass, but he has now been fouled by Vinicius. I think he's going to be a little fortunate to get that, but he's got it, and it's a free kick to Liverpool.
And they're petrified of Vinicius every time he gets that ball, even when he hasn't got the ball and he's closing the Liverpool players down. They're just petrified anywhere that goes near them.
I watched their game on Saturday night against Osasuna, and he was he is right on the top of his game at the moment.
Such a talent, eh?
Yeah, top scorer now this season, 18 goals for Real Madrid. Remember, he got 22 last season, including the one that won the Champions League final. Now here's Carvajal playing the ball over the top down the right-hand side. That's for Rodrigo, the other Brazilian on the other side to run onto. Rodrigo is there, he's got a bit of space as well. Robertson's back in position. The cut back, intercepted by Bajcetic. Carvajal gives it back to Rodrigo. Now here's Benzema. Look out, Liverpool. Benzema gets it back. Left-footed shot, deflected in. Alisson tried to react, but the deflection beat him. Outstretched, the Liverpool goalkeeper got something on it, but he couldn't prevent it. Bouncing into the back of the Liverpool net, and now it's Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 4, and Benzema via the deflection has given Real Madrid a clear lead.
It's turning into a disaster this for Liverpool tonight. They play the ball really well, they work it really well down their right-hand side. Little 1-2 give and go to Benzema, who just takes a little pot shot really with that left foot. And the Liverpool defender closing him down, and Gomez goes to close him down and just sticks that left foot out, sticks the little heel out, and it hits that heel. And Alisson's already gone, and he can't get back into the middle of the goal, and just watches the ball go past him.
He was already committed. The VAR are having a look at offside here, but I think it's going to be onside. Rodrigo, when he burst down the right, and Alisson in the 6-yard box, diving to his left was. Diving to his right was already committed, and then the deflection off Gomez, there's nothing Alisson could do about that. He did his best, he got a touch on it. I feel for Gomez as well, he's unfortunate there. He was probably not tight enough, we were saying at half-time, Alan, as Adam Lallana actually said to Kelly Cates at the break on 5 Live. Probably Gomez not tight enough to Vinicius for that. It was actually his pass back to Alisson that was charged down for that goal in the first half, and now really unfortunate there with that one.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do with a shot, but it's the way that Real Madrid, and particularly Benzema, how they move the ball with pace, and it's very, very difficult to get near any Real Madrid player when they do that. And then he opens himself up for the shot. It's not a great shot, and you're right, there's nothing Alisson or Gomez can do about it. It's just really unlucky.
So there we are, Benzema will get that. I think it was on target, the shot from the Ballon d'Or holder. So his 17th of the season, this injury hit season that he's had. He's actually had 5 spells out injured, and remember, was ruled out of the World Cup with France. But he's always a danger. and he has indeed now joined the scorers tonight. So Liverpool from 2-0 up are trailing 4-2. And we've still got over half an hour to play. So, all is not lost, and Liverpool do continue to really cause problems when they come forward. Unfortunately, they've conceded some terrible goals. Gomez playing it across the back line to Van Dijk, and the Real Madrid supporters here are now in great voice in their corner, in their section of the Anfield Road stand. Valverde is caught in possession by Cetic, so Henderson's onto that. Henderson finding Robertson, passing the ball into his path. Robertson plays it for to Gakpo, who's onside, who's being played on by Nacho on this side. Gakpo's cross took a deflection. Vane shouts for a handball. Rudiger's ended up going down well off the ball inside the penalty area, and Alisson's come right out of his goal to near the halfway line. And Rudiger's not very happy about something.
He's claiming that Nunez has actually elbowed him.
Okay. And the referee has now gone across to Nunez and has had a word, and we're just watching it again, and well, it's a distant view. There didn't seem to be a great deal in it on that view, but he does catch him with his arm.
Yeah, Rudiger's actually got hold of him, and it's just as putting his left arm out to get away from the defender. I don't think there's anything in that.
No, he just caught him with his hand and went down, and I think the referee has an idea that something was afoot. Yeah, they've had a VAR check. And that's the end of that.
Not good play from Rudiger, actually, because he's actually thrown his arms around to the referee as if to point out that Nunez has elbowed him deliberately. He didn't. He tried to get off him because he was grabbing hold of him.
Antonio Rudiger, though, has been around the block as Salah is fouled by Valverde. Free kick just over the halfway line. Well, Liverpool and Fabinho was going to take a short free kick there, and he didn't get out of the way, Vinicius, and he's acting the put upon shocked individual that he's been shown a yellow card by the referee. But that's the letter of the law. Free kick to Liverpool. So the big men need to stand up for Liverpool now. They need to produce something very, very special in the next half hour to be still in this tie. Real Madrid have not lost at home in any competition this season, incidentally. Here's Nacho over the halfway line, the second leg in the Spanish capital in 3 weeks' time. Benzema playing it in field, and then back it goes, Real Madrid into their own half. And the pass from Rudiger finds Carvajal. Rodrigo is there on the right-hand side. Benzema, now it's steered back to Modric. That's dangerous for Liverpool, Modric in that kind of position. But Nunez did well, and Nunez has actually come out with the ball. And Nunez bringing it forward, still going, but he's run into trouble centrally. Could have played it. Salah and Gakpo were on the run, and now instead it's being played forward by Militao to Benzema, who carries it out to the right-hand side. Benzema to the corner of the box. Real Madrid, no hurry now for them. 4-2 up, clear 2-goal advantage. Modric, wouldn't surprise you in the slightest if Modric now ran the show for the last half hour or so. Liverpool are going to make another couple of changes, or indeed their first 2 changes. Jota and Firmino coming on, and Napoli have taken a 2-0 lead in Germany in the other first leg tie in the last 16. As Real Madrid with Carvajal with a cross, it's over everyone inside the box, bounces out into the right back position where Henderson will play it off the diving Valverde and behind for a goal kick. Giovanni Di Lorenzo with the second goal for Napoli. So the Italian league leaders winning 2-0 in Germany against last year's Europa League winners, Eintracht Frankfurt. Nunez can't keep the ball in on the far side, throwing to Real Madrid. They need something, Liverpool, Alan Shearer.
Well, such is the quality of this Real Madrid team. Liverpool are finding it really difficult now because with their ability to handle the ball in difficult situations. Of course, when Liverpool are putting pressure on them to try and go forward, you run the risk with the ability that they have up front that they punish you even more.
Nacho playing it forward. Stretch from Gomez, bounces to Benzema. Benzema taking it out towards the left-hand side. Benzema then playing it across into the centre circle. Modric with a cushioned touch under no pressure to Camavinga. And then Carvajal back to Modric, who's finding space. That's a big worry. And then the cross from Carvajal to the back post. Benzema onside, is able to take it down and give it back to Vinicius on the left-hand side. And if Liverpool are not careful, there's a fifth Real Madrid goal coming here. And then the shot is blasted in from distance by Rudiger. Optimistic that. Well wide by 4 or 5 yards, and it's a goal kick. And Liverpool need something. And here come the substitutes to see if they can make a difference. Gakpo and Nunez. So Nunez, who obviously was a doubt for this game, scored a brilliant goal to start the scoring this evening. But off come the two recent-ish signings, the two of them. And on come, well, one of the great servants of this Klopp Liverpool team, Roberto Firmino, and Diogo Jota, who has had such a bad time with injury this season, only just coming back. The third consecutive substitute appearance for the Portuguese, who's yet to score this season. And here's Henderson, who has the ball. In fact, it's a free kick, foul on Alexander-Arnold. And Liverpool through the middle. We've got 25 minutes or so to play, plus added time. 4-2 to Real Madrid. Tomorrow night, RB Leipzig against Manchester City. You'll hear that live from Germany. And Fabinho playing the ball to the left-hand side to Robertson, who takes that down and plays it back to Bajcetic, middle of the half, square to Fabinho. Fabinho then rolls it forward. Salah turns it in towards the edge of the box, looking for Firmino, but Real Madrid are all over him, clear. Gomez, though, wins it back. Alexander-Arnold crossing to the back post, where it's tucked away behind by Carvajal. He knew that he had Jota behind him, so just turned it behind the far post for a corner.
It's a magnificent ball from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Just puts his head down and whips it into the middle, and he's got every right to ask, why isn't there a Liverpool forward on the end of that? Such as that good ball.
Make this Liverpool's first corner from the left-hand side. So it is an outswinger. Here it comes towards the penalty spot. Firmino leapt for it, but it was headed away. Comes out to Bajcetic, who tries to curl it and curls it narrowly wide from probably almost 30 yards out.
Well, Jordan Henderson wanted to take it, him running the other way towards his own goal, but Bajcetic says, no, leave it for me, and then he just tries to curl it, but it's a good 5 or 6 yards wide.
Goal kick, Real Madrid. Latest scores in the matches tonight in the Championship are Blackburn 1, Blackpool 0. Still Millwall 0, the leaders Burnley 1. Norwich City winning 2-1 against Birmingham. Rotherham winning 2-1 against Sunderland. And Swansea 1, Stoke City 2. Here's Alexander-Arnold playing the ball in field for Fabinho. Fabinho through the middle. Jota, though, runs into Carvajal. Camavinga, and then Rudiger back to Courtois. Long and left-footed from him from the 6-yard box. Van Dijk underneath this, heads it forward to Gomez, and now Alexander-Arnold just lifts it further forward to Salah. Rudiger was there with Salah, put out of play by Valverde. Throw in for Alexander-Arnold to take, which he does, into the path. Oh, that's a poor touch by Fabinho. Modric is onto that. Modric is away from Bajcetic. Modric finds Vinicius. Benzema's unmarked in the D. Benzema round Alisson, left foot, finishes. 5-2 Real Madrid. The white shirts of Real Madrid jumping for joy on the Anfield pitch, and that was from back to front in a flash. Modric at the heart of it. Vinicius involved as well, but then Benzema with class, and this might be over. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5.
You cannot make mistakes when there are world-class players waiting to punish you. From Modric to Vinicius Jr, from Vinicius Jr into Benzema, who coolly comes back inside on that left foot and then tucks it into the top left-hand corner The drive from Modric from midfield to go past by Cecic and then find Vinicius Jr, who then looks up into Benzema, who sits Alisson down on the edge of the box, then has the ability and the confidence to take it onto the left foot, has one little look and whips it in the top corner with his left foot. It's a magnificent goal from Real Madrid and from Benzema. Class all over the park.
Modric there, you know, at the heart of that. You'd think that Modric was the teenager, wouldn't you?
The way he glides past the Liverpool midfield and has the strength to say, get off me, you're not going to catch me. I'm too strong for you, I'm too quick for you at his age. And then have the ability to look up and find Vinicius Jr. It's an incredible goal from Real Madrid.
Well, Anfield, apart from that one section in the lower tier of the Anfield Road end, this ground, so often, so vibrant and so noisy on European nights. In the Kop down there, all the flags have been put away and people are sitting quietly now, red scarves draped around their necks, and it's hard to see possibly any way back for Liverpool in this tie, even though we've got well over half of it to play.
Well, Kelly said to me before the game, John, what do you expect from Liverpool? And I said, and I really meant it, I didn't know what to expect, because when you've been so poor for a long time and then you get the two results that they had, it doesn't mean you're back against a 10-man Newcastle. And when you make mistakes against the quality and the calibre of this team, you're going to get punished, and boy have they been punished tonight.
As Nacho is forced by a long Alisson goal kick to deflect it behind for a corner to Liverpool. And yes, Alan, you're right. I mean, it was difficult to know how to call this and what to suggest. We're going to go to Millwall in a moment, but Liverpool have got a corner on the right-hand side that Alexander-Arnold is waiting to take. And Alexander-Arnold plays it in, and it's headed straight at Courtois by Firmino, actually, who got it well, but headed it straight at the Real Madrid goalkeeper, who was able to drop onto the ground with it. So back to the Championship, back to the Den, back to Millwall. Aaron Paul.
Equaliser for the home side. Millwall 1, Burnley 1. Charlie Cresswell's corner was popped into the box. It was headed down for Tom Bradshaw. Hat-trick here on Saturday. Has he salvaged a point here for Millwall? The Den is alive. John Vincent Kompany urging his players to calm down. They're rising to the occasion. It's 1-1.
Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5. And this, remember, from a position where Liverpool led 2-0 with less than quarter of an hour to play. So Real Madrid with the ball on the edge of their own penalty area. And Nacho on the left-hand side to Camavinga. Camavinga challenge. Firmino just got a touch on that. Firmino now wriggling away from Valverde, who did well, actually went down, got the challenge in, but Liverpool were there. Henderson behind it. Henderson controls it. Salah was fouled off the ball, it would seem. Ball played to the back post. Robertson nods it back to the edge of the area, but guess who's there for Real Madrid? Luka Modric getting in there ahead of Jota, and Real Madrid have got it back halfway inside their own half. And Camavinga will just pass the ball out towards the left-hand side. They are so confident, they're so positive and sure of where they are. The European champions, the Club World Cup winners earlier this month, Super Cup winners as well against Eintracht Frankfurt at the start of this season. Only Barcelona ahead of them at the top of the Spanish league, and they'll play Barcelona next week in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-final. They've got Atletico Madrid to play this coming weekend in La Liga, but all eyes on this, all concentration on this, and they've come here and they've done a job on Liverpool. And actually, with Liverpool losing by 3 goals, this would equal their heaviest home defeat in Europe, which was previously 3-0 here against Real Madrid in 2014. And Real Madrid with Rudiger, and then Nacho playing it in. James Milner's going to come on for Liverpool shortly. Rudiger back to Nacho again on the left-hand side, and then back it goes, and Real Madrid now dominating possession. Liverpool can't get close to them. Rudiger, this is turned into a nightmare for Liverpool.
They're chasing shadows. They can't get near Real Madrid. Full of confidence, full of belief, incredible ability, particularly that man Modric. I mean, if there's one guy who you don't want to be up against in world football when you're chasing the game, it's that guy. The belief that he has and his ability, his little one-touches, his little give and go, and his vision.
So another double change. Matip is going to come on for Liverpool at the back, and James Milner as well, as I mentioned. So Joe Gomez makes way for him, and he's been on the rough end of so much tonight. Deflections, you know, certainly he could have been closer to Vinicius for the first goal that Real Madrid scored, but Matip comes on to replace him, and it is Jordan Henderson who makes way for James Milner, who will take the captain's armband. So that is 4 substitutions that Liverpool have made. We've got still almost 20 minutes to play. I'm also wondering, you know, 5 goals, Liverpool conceding 5 goals at Anfield. I wonder when the last time that happened was. Ball on the left-hand side with Jota.
You're not looking for an answer, are you?
Well, I'm not sure where to start with that. Here's Firmino out to the left-hand side. If you'd come up with that, Alan, I would have been very impressed. I'm always impressed when you're sitting next to me, but I would have been super impressed, as Thomas Tuchel would say. Ball's out of play for a goal kick to Real Madrid, and Jurgen Klopp down there cutting a very isolated figure, hands in his pockets, black cap pulled down. Liverpool are looking for a miracle, and Modric, who, I mean, how many times have we said it of him? He is just ageless. Milner playing the ball across, comes to the edge of the penalty area where Militao was there to whack it away downfield, and then Matip is able to head it back to Alisson. Actually, Juliet here, who's with us, has just pointed out, remember the 5-5 draw in the League Cup, which actually wasn't that long ago, and I was here for that, so I should have remembered that. Should have remembered.
It's all right, you're at that stage in your life, John. It's all right, we'll forgive you.
I am. Yes. Fabinho. So when was the last time they conceded 5 goals in a European tie at Anfield? Here's Matip, who's bringing it forward and giving it to Milner on the right-hand side. Milner away from Carvajal, but it feels like it's gone now. It does.
Yeah.
You know, whether Liverpool are able to raise themselves. As I say, there's still 15 minutes left in this game, but it now feels that that's not happening, that Real Madrid are in control.
What they're doing really well is that when Liverpool have the ball, they're actually going into a 4-5-1 with that guy who we've been raving about all night, Vinicius Jr on the left. He's tucking in that left and making a 5-man midfield and doing his work defensively. So at the minute, there's no way through.
Ball comes to Milner, flick from him, but the flicks aren't coming off now, straight to Rudiger. And now here is Vinicius, but Alexander-Arnold comes in and it's deflected out of play. And, helpfully, our friends at ESPN are saying that this is the first time that Liverpool have conceded 5 goals in a Champions League match.
I know, I couldn't think of one.
And it's come from Kelly. Kelly sent us that. Well, thank you, Kelly. Kelly Cates. But this is 5 Live, Radio Merseyside. I'm not sure whether I have any listeners left from Radio Merseyside. No. Everton supporters have tuned in en masse. And BBC Sounds. Here's Salah on the right-hand side. Salah down for Milner. Milner right-footed cross, taken down by Jota. No, it just got away from him. Had his back to goal, got his right foot to it, and it's cleared away downfield by Real Madrid. Comes back for Carvajal, and Real Madrid with Rudiger playing it out towards the far side, and Liverpool win it back. It's brought forward by Robertson towards the dead ball line, but there's cover there. Militao comes across and blocks it behind. Corner to Liverpool though,
and you can see he clenches his fist there as he blocks that Militao. You can see right in front of the cop. Good play from Robertson though. They need more of that. They need more energy.
Corner from the left-hand side. In front of the cop, the silent cop. Robertson raises his right arm. He has the delivery into the near post, but can't beat the first man there. Carvajal was in position, the bearded Carvajal, 31 years old. gets that away by Cetic with a long diagonal pass looking for Matip, who tried to swing it across on the sprint. The substitute, the central defender, couldn't get a touch. It's behind for a goal kick. Got another statistical note coming your way, Alan, in a moment. It's from our friend Statman Dave, who says this is the first time Liverpool have conceded 5 goals at Anfield in this competition, Champions League, European Cup. So an historic night in the sense that Liverpool did not want.
No, and they've been too easy to play through, particularly this second half. I mean, it was all looking ever so good when they were 2-0 up, and you're thinking, yes, this could be the turning point for them. But then the way Real Madrid have bounced back in the fashion that they have, and just Liverpool have played too open. Yes, they've got unbelievable ability in that midfield, Real Madrid, but if you stick together and you're tight and you make it difficult for the opposition, you get men behind the ball, and then it should be harder than it has been.
Firmino getting the ball down on the right-hand side, but Real Madrid 5-2 up. First time that Liverpool have conceded 5 goals here at Anfield in this competition that they are so fond of. Camavinga clearing the ball away. I feel like I should return the compliment to Statman Dave by saying listen to the 606 Fantasy Football podcast with Statman Dave on BBC Sounds. Here's Salah moving in from the right-hand side. Nacho, the challenge, but Salah kept possession. Fabinho, but we've got 10 white shirts parked behind the ball and the dangerous Benzema lurking in the centre circle should Real Madrid break away, and how they broke away for that 5th goal. Milner infield towards Alexander-Arnold, now by Cetic curling it out towards the far side. Robertson is there, Robertson back to the edge of the area. Jota by Cetic, right-footed, this is a high one to the right-hand side, taken down by Alexander-Arnold. Then Salah back again centrally to the middle of the half to by Cetic, then Robertson again on the left-hand side. But Real Madrid are just sitting in there, and Liverpool are just finding it so hard to try and pick a way through them. Fabinho now away from Benzema and Valverde to his left to by Cetic. Robertson plays it on beyond Rodrigo, but Carvajal was there just to shepherd it behind. And then, as you do when you're 5-2 up, turns to Robertson, who went to ground, and helps him up. Are you okay? Everything okay? Yeah, come on. Yeah. So another change for Real Madrid, and it is Rodrigo who's making way, and it's going to be another of the Real Madrid stars, Dani Ceballos, the former Arsenal loanee, who's going to come on to replace him. Full time, so the 7:45s reaching their full-time whistles. So to Millwall, Aaron Paul.
Millwall 1, Burnley 1, the points shared in a proper championship battle. Ashley Barnes put the visitors ahead with a touch of fortune as the ball dropped to him in the box. Tom Bradshaw's equaliser had the same level of fortune as he lashed home with 5 minutes to go. Burnley's lead now 12 points at the summit. Millwall go into 5th. Millwall 1, Burnley 1.
Put the cat among the pigeons, wouldn't it, if Millwall got promoted to the Premier League at the end of this season, having a very good season. The other full-time scores, they're all coming in. Blackburn, one of your old clubs, Alan, have beaten Blackpool in the North West Derby 1-0. Millwall 1, Burnley 1, as we've just heard from Aaron. Norwich City 3-1 winners in the end against Birmingham. Stoke City have scored again, 3-1 up, and they've beaten Swansea. Swansea 1, Stoke City 3. And they're still playing, where Rotherham are 2-1 up on Sunderland. In League One, Fleetwood 1, Cambridge United 0, and Morecambe 1, Port Vale 0. And not many goals in League Two. I'll run you through the scores in a moment, the 4 matches. But Real Madrid have the ball back. Valverde intercepted the pass from Cetic, and it goes back to Courtois. So in League Two, Grimsby Town 0, Harrogate Town 0, Hartlepool United 0, Newport County 1. Bottom of the table, Rochdale have lost at home to Stockport 2-1, who are pushing for promotion this season, and Walsall 0, Crewe 0 it finished. Liverpool with the ball on the right-hand side with Alexander-Arnold, but Nacho is able to get a foot in, and it bounces away for Real Madrid. And Benzema now halfway inside his own half, plays it round one side of Salah, can't get there, it's out of play. Throw into Liverpool. Hamilton 2, Inverness 1 in the Championship in Scotland. Albion Rovers 3, Elgin City 0. And still playing. Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Napoli 2, the latest in the other match in the first legs tonight. Plymouth 1, Cheltenham 1 is the latest score in the EFL Trophy semi-final. So we've got less than 10 minutes to play, about 8 minutes actually plus added time, and it's the Real Madrid supporters you can hear in the rest of Anfield, whether it's the Kop or the Kenny Dalglish stand or the main stand here. There's a little bit of applause down there for James Milner blocking the ball out for a throw, or the other Liverpool supporters in the Anfield Road end after it was so loud, so vibrant in the early stages when Liverpool were on top and scoring their 2 goals. It is Shrove Tuesday today, and I'm afraid it has gone as flat as the proverbial. Here's Militao passing it out to Modric, and then Rudiger, Nacho, and Modric with his right foot, but that's cut out by the right leg of Alexander-Arnold. Bajcetic then plays it over the top, easy for Rudiger, just to head it down above Firmino. Now Nacho sets off down the left-hand side. Nacho taking the ball a long way. Oh, shoved over by Alexander-Arnold. No, says the referee. I thought I saw his hands go to the back of Nacho, who can't believe he hasn't got a free kick. But Liverpool have got it.
So did I. I thought Trent got away with one there because Nacho's away from him and he's chasing him, and he does push him from behind. And the referee, I think, has got a good view of that. But he chooses not to give the free kick, luckily for Liverpool.
Time running out tonight, 7 minutes to go. I think there's going to be another Liverpool change shortly. I don't know how many times you were in this kind of position, Alan, but I mean, it's just a case of what? Trying to score. The ball comes across. Salah's almost in, but Nacho comes across, did well actually. Firmino trying to find a way through, but it bounces away. Militao defended it well, and Militao passes it forward. And then Valverde's got it on the right-hand side.
It's horrible. It really is horrible because you are chasing shadows when you're up against ability like Modric and Benzema and Vinicius Jr and Camavinga, guys who are so comfortable on the ball. It's hard enough when it's 0-0, let alone when you're losing by 3 goals.
In a 2-leg tie though, Fabinho carrying the ball forward towards the edge of the box, but it's all rather ponderous this. Firmino through into the box, and then Jota getting the crossover, comes off Carvajal, says the referee. It's a corner to Liverpool, and Rotherham have won. Rotherham have beaten Sunderland by 2-1, not 1 in 5, so that's their first win in 6 matches, and clearly a blow for Sunderland at the other end of the table. Corner for Liverpool. Harvey Elliott coming on though first of all for Bajcetic in the midfield, and it's been a tough school today for Bajcetic in the midfield against this lot.
No, he'll look back and he'll certainly learn from this how it could and perhaps should be done, but he tried hard and worked hard. He never gave up, but he's up against some of the very, very best in there tonight. It was always going to be difficult for him.
Alexander-Arnold with the corner for Liverpool, but that's easily headed away. Stooping forward, Carvajal was able to, unchallenged, head it away to the halfway line. So if you've just switched on to us on 5 Live or Radio Merseyside, listening on BBC Sounds, it was 2-0 to Liverpool. Darwin Nunez and Salah, and the place was absolutely rocking at that stage. Valverde playing the ball forward, and Vinicius Jr, who did the damage in the first half, scoring 2 goals to draw it level. First, a brilliant finish, the second charging down an Alisson clearance. So 2-2 at half-time, but Carlo Ancelotti's team have just taken it away from Liverpool in the second half, and now he's going to make another couple of changes. And Toni Kroos, who wasn't even in the country this morning, is going to come on. Benzema off, saved for greater challenges, you have to say, coming up in the next week. Benzema is applauded off by actually many of the Liverpool fans as well inside the ground. Marco Asensio, great Champions League pedigree that he's got as well, and also I thought that might happen. Benzema off and Modric as well. Atletico Madrid to play at the weekend, Barcelona to play next week.
Not bad subs to come on though, Asensio and Toni Kroos.
Well, I know.
How does he keep going in Modric, by the way? How does he keep going?
37 years old. He's still talking about playing on for Croatia, isn't he?
Well, looking at him tonight, the way he's done overlaps, the way he's protected the back four, the way his ability on the ball to control the midfield as he has done, I'm not surprised.
This is his 468th appearance for Real Madrid. And remember, he had 4 years at Tottenham before that.
What a career, what a player, what an athlete.
And what really struck you, possibly actually what I'll remember about this, is the way that he went away from Bajcetic, the teenager, just a surging run to set up. I think that was the 5th goal, wasn't it, for Real Madrid?
The 37-year-old running away from the 18-year-old. Incredible.
Last stages tonight will be on air. 5 Live Sports till 10:30 tonight. If you don't hear the reaction, what Jurgen Klopp has to say about this, and Carlo Ancelotti as well, that'll be on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning from BBC Sounds, where we also have on there new 50 years of Rafa Benitez. If you're a Liverpool supporter and want some happier European memories, you'll find them there with Rafa Benitez on BBC Sounds, and also the new Jermaine Defoe Outside the Box podcast. They're all turning to broadcasting now, Alan.
Yeah, turn into that one if you want to go to sleep.
It can work actually, that kind of thing.
Actually, you mentioned Bajcetic, he'd do well looking at the video of this game and looking at Modric and his performance and his attitude.
Kroos, I thought Kroos might have been fouled there. Liverpool bring it forward. Salah, he has Elliott into the game, but crosses it into Rudiger, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to Liverpool near the corner flag. Alexander-Arnold takes it down, and in it goes now into the edge of the penalty area to Firmino, who couldn't control it. Real Madrid clear. It hit the referee actually, but the referee's allowed play to continue with Nacho, and Nacho into the centre circle to Valverde. Liverpool quickly back in position. Certainly don't want a 6th goal on this night of unwanted history for Liverpool, conceding 5 goals in the Champions League here at Anfield.
He's done well in there as well in the midfield. Camavinga, mind you, they all have. They've all been outstanding.
So Marco Asensio over there on the right hand side. It comes back centrally and played forward by Ceballos, coming on into the midfield. Remember those 2 years that he had at Arsenal. And now Nacho at the back. We're in the 90th minute now. Real Madrid in possession. The Kop want a little bit more than this from their Liverpool team. Instead, it's Real Madrid who continue to come forward. Nacho surging forward whenever he gets the chance. And they really are thinking of absolutely making sure of this, Real Madrid, if they can. Carvajal on the right-hand side comes back to Ceballos. Valverde is there. Now Camavinga. And Camavinga as well. What a beautifully economical player he is.
Superb. He's linked up really well. The understanding that him and Modric have had in the midfield tonight has worked perfectly for them.
Yeah, and you can see, can't you, that he learned from Casemiro when he was. It's like watching Casemiro, isn't it? A younger version. Casemiro, who will be involved against Barcelona, all being well on Thursday night, as Real Madrid come forward again. So tomorrow night, RB Leipzig against Manchester City. Thursday night, Manchester United against Barcelona. The England-Belgium match is on Sports Extra tomorrow night in the Arnold Clark Cup. And then Saturday, big games as well. Leicester City against Arsenal, our 3 o'clock commentary. We've got Wales-England in the Six Nations as well after that. And then on Sunday, Tottenham-Chelsea. And then Newcastle United against Manchester United, live from Wembley Sunday afternoon. Join us for all of that. 5 Live, the only place where you will be able to hear all of that, and indeed this, live from Anfield. Here's Firmino through the middle. Jota bounces off him, and Militao is able to get a touch in on it. Real Madrid come forward again. Some have left now. There are empty seats appearing. Can't see too many empty seats on the Kop. But what a sobering night it's been. Liverpool with the ball in the middle into the penalty area. Salah's after that was challenged by Nacho, went down. The referee's having none of that, and he's helped up by the same player. Nacho pulls him up onto his feet. No complaints from Liverpool. Throw in on the left-hand side. It's finished Eintracht Frankfurt 0, Napoli 2 in the first leg, and the other tie tonight. I know many Alan, are fancying maybe Napoli could be the Champions League winners this season. I know they've got their sights set on winning the league in Italy, having not done it for such a long time. Here's Jota on the edge of the penalty area, bounces back to Salah on the edge of the box, but it bounces to Kroos, and Real Madrid clear it away, and Matip will knock it infield to Van Dijk. And they are staying so they can sing "You'll Never Walk Alone," and that's what it's all about, really, to do that on occasions such as this.
Yeah, it's been a tough night for them. Really has been a tough night for them. Despite the start that they had, no one ever saw this coming, did they? The way that Real Madrid have actually just demolished Liverpool, particularly in the midfield areas where they've just passed it around for fun, and Liverpool have not been able to get near them.
Free kick for a foul on Nacho, and yellow card as well, I think, for Elliott for that challenge. So yellow card for Harvey Elliott. But it's rather sobering, isn't it, this week and last week for the mighty Premier League. In the Champions League, Chelsea and Tottenham losing 1-0 away, not able to score a goal between them, and now Liverpool 5-2 down at home against Real Madrid.
Yeah, it is, absolutely, yeah. But this team's a special team with some very, very good players, with a wily old manager who's been there and done it everywhere he's been, and know how to go to places like Anfield and get a result.
And hence, as I was about to say, people think about maybe Napoli in the Champions League, but who would bet against Real Madrid? And certainly after what they've done here to Liverpool, and the recent revival has been stopped juddering in its tracks by the Champions League holders, the Club World Cup winners, who've come here and inflicted a record equalling defeat in terms of margin on Liverpool in Europe at Anfield, and also the first time Liverpool have conceded 5 goals in this competition here at Anfield. 5-2, Alan Shearer.
Well, you've seen a masterclass in how not to panic, how to have belief in your ability, keep going the way you wanted to play, and stick to the tactics that the manager's given you, and eventually something will turn. But it helps when you've got the brilliance of Vinicius Jr up front, when you've got the know-how of Benzema, who's been there and done it before, when you've got the brilliance of Modric in midfield with the energy and the youth of Camavinga in and around him. So this is an experienced team with an experienced manager who've done it before at the highest level, and they have punished Liverpool tonight in a heavy way.
So there we are, Liverpool 2-0 up inside the first 15 minutes through Nunez and Salah, but then Liverpool conceded 5 goals without reply. 5 goals without reply. 2-2 at half-time, 2 for Vinicius Jr, then Militao as the Real Madrid players go to their supporters, and then 2 for the great Karim Benzema as well. We didn't know quite what to expect tonight. We found it hard to predict it, didn't we? But I don't think anyone expected this kind of Spanish Inquisition. Liverpool 2, Real Madrid 5.
John Murray and Alan Shearer at Anfield for that Champions League round of 16 first leg. Alan, as you've just been reflecting on with John, and we'll come to the Liverpool deficiencies in a moment, but this is just a Real Madrid side who, yes, their form's been up and down this season, but their affinity with this tournament, the skills and the talent that they have in this side just shone through, particularly from about halfway through the first half.
Yeah, they didn't panic when they went 2-0 down. Nothing changed. They stuck to their game plan. And then, as I said, when you've got the ability of him in midfield, Modric, the way he controls it, his belief in who and what's around him, his little one touch, and he gives and he goes, and then you've got the energy of Camavinga in and around him. But the brilliance of those two up front in Vinicius Jr and Benzema, you give them an opportunity, you were going to get punished, and that's exactly what Liverpool did. I mean, the first one, yes, that Gomez could have got closer to Vinicius. He might have blocked the shot if he did, but the way he picks his spot and knocks it past the goalkeeper, and Alisson's got no chance. And then we're thinking, what's going to happen in the second half when it's 2-2, and you think, okay, it's not a bad result for Liverpool to go over there, but but then you're seeing the brilliance and the way Modric just goes past by Cecic in the midfield as if to say, get off me, you're not going to stay with me, and then for him to find Vinicius Jr on the left, and the way he put it into Benzema, and what you're talking about killers up front who if you give them an opportunity they're going to take it, and Liverpool give them too many tonight, and it's a harsh lesson.
It's been a harsh lesson for Liverpool with that 5-2 defeat at Anfield. We'll be reflecting much more on that between now and 10:30 here on 5 Live Sport. Just to bring you up to date with what happened elsewhere this evening in the other Champions League round of 16 game first leg. Napoli have beaten Frankfurt by 2-0 in Germany. We'll reflect on that one as well. Busy night in the EFL as well. In the Championship, Blackburn 1-0 winners against Blackpool. Millwall came from 1-0 down to draw against Burnley, who've stretched their advantage at the top by just a point. Norwich 3-1 winners against Birmingham City. Rotherham beat Sunderland by 2-1. And Swansea beaten 3-1 at home by Stoke. In League One, Fleetwood beat Cambridge 1-0. Morecambe 1-0 winners against Port Vale. And into League Two, where it finished goalless between Grimsby and Harrogate. Hartlepool beaten 1-0 at home by Newport County. Rochdale 1, Stockport County 2. Walsall 0, Crewe Alexandra 0. In the EFL Trophy, the playoff has gone to penalties. It finished 1-1 after 90 minutes between Plymouth and Cheltenham in that semi-final, so they will go to penalties for a place in the EFL Trophy final. Just to round up a busy night in the National League as well, it finished Barnet 2, Altrincham 4, Chesterfield 1, Wealdstone 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 2, Aldershot 1, Dorking Wanderers 3, Torquay 2, Halifax 1, Solihull Moors 1, Gateshead 2, Oldham 1, Maidenhead 2, Yeovil 0, Maidstone 1, Eastleigh 3, Notts County 4, Southend 0, Woking 2, Bromley 1, Wrexham 2, Scunthorpe 0, and York City 1, Boreham Wood 1 game to bring you from the Scottish Championship, where Hamilton beat Inverness by 2-1, and in League Two, Albion Rovers 3, Elgin City 0. We will reflect on Liverpool's 5-2 defeat by Real Madrid, having been 2-0 up after 15 minutes at Anfield. Liverpool on the other end of a fantastic Real Madrid comeback. 2 goals for Vinicius Jr, 2 for Karim Benzema. We'll be reflecting on that with Alan Shearer and with John Murray. We'll also be joined by Adam Lallana after the BBC News with Nick Qureshi.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Kelly. Next week's 48-hour nurses' strike in England has been called off. The Royal College of Nursing and the government say intensive talks will take place over pay terms and conditions. The head of the RCN is Pat Cullen.
I think this is a significant step forward. Every nurse in England today can breathe a sigh of relief, and more importantly, our patients can. So let's get round the table tomorrow. I'm very confident with the move from government, and certainly we will do our very best to make sure that a fair pay deal is obtained.
President Biden says Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Speaking in Poland, he said support for the Ukrainians would not waver. Earlier, Vladimir Putin accused the West of starting the war and suspended a key nuclear treaty with the United States. The Scottish Finance Secretary Kate Forbes says at the moment she's still in the running to lead the SNP and the country. She's lost the support of 4 colleagues over her religious beliefs. Asda and Morrisons are limiting purchases of some fruit and veg. Supermarkets are facing shortages of fresh produce. Andrew Opie from the British Retail Consortium explains why.
Very unseasonable weather down in southern Spain, southern Europe and into North Africa are exactly the sort of place we source lots of imports of fresh produce like tomatoes and peppers at this time of the year. So that means some problems with availability, but supermarkets are pretty adept at meeting these challenges as we saw during the pandemic.
Trials of a 4-day working week have been declared a success by most of the firms involved. Nearly all the 61 companies which took part plan to make the change permanent. Women on hormone replacement therapy in England will be able to get cheaper treatment from April. The government says it'll cost under £20 a year. And Spain's Transport Minister and the head of the state rail operator Renfe have resigned. It's after new commuter trains, costing around £230 million, turned out to be too wide to get through tunnels.
On BBC iPlayer.
6 robbers have carried out an armed raid, stealing almost 3 tonnes of gold.
Inspired by Britain's biggest gold heist.
How do you shift 3 tonnes of gold?
Slowly.
£26 million worth of pure gold in the possession of people who didn't expect to have it.
If you can handle a job like this, then I'd have heard of you. You only hear about the people who get caught.
Stealing it was just the start.
We're looking for 6 robbers and 3 tonnes of gold.
Every ring, every watch. If you're looking for the gold, it's all around you.
The Gold. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live, your football station.
The UEFA Champions League
With Kelly Cates.
Liverpool have it all to do in their Champions League last 16 second leg. In the first, they went from 2-0 up at Anfield to a 5-2 defeat by Real Madrid. John Murray and Alan Shearer watched this one. John, probably best we take this chronologically.
Well, what we do know is that Liverpool's mini recent revival is over, and it's been stopped shudderingly in its tracks by the record winners of this competition. But after 15 minutes, though, Anfield was alive and bouncing, and it seemed Liverpool might be gaining a measure of revenge for their Champions League final defeat last season. A glorious flick from Darwin Nunez for 1-0, and a present from goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois for Mo Salah as he became on his own Liverpool's record scorer in Europe. But Carlo Ancelotti, the Real Madrid coach, knows all about Champions League comebacks, and by half-time it was 2-2 with 2 goals from Vinicius Jr. The man who scored the winner in last year's final was at it again. A brilliant first goal, and then he charged down an Alisson clearance for 2-2. And in the second half, Real Madrid just took it away from Liverpool. First of all, terrible goal defensively. Militao stole in among so many Liverpool defenders to head in from a set piece. Then Benzema, a deflected shot from the edge of the area as he got in on the act, and it was all over for Liverpool when they broke away. Modric at the heart of it, as he was during the course of the second half, at the heart of so many good things. Modric, Vinicius, and then Benzema around Alisson to score into the top corner with his left foot for his second goal of the night. So there we are, a night of history for Liverpool, unwanted history, conceding 5 goals in a match in this competition, the competition they love so much, for the first time.
Alan, we'll come to the brilliance of Real Madrid and particularly their attacking players in a moment. But how on earth do Liverpool concede 5 goals at home?
Because they were hopeless at the back. I was concerned before the game when I said to you about the Newcastle game. Was it that they were 2-0 up against 10 men and they just switched off and they were looking forward to this game? Because Newcastle did create a lot of chances against them, particularly set pieces. But no, as it turns out, it wasn't. It was because they're not very good at the back. They haven't got the protection that they used to have. And when you allow a defender who's come up from a set piece, a free header from 4 or 5 yards out with no one near him so soon after half time, when your goalkeeper makes a mistake as he did do, when Gomez doesn't get tight to Vinicius Jr in that first half for that first goal. So all these add up. You can't do that against any player, let alone world-class players in this fantastic Real Madrid team. And when you're playing at the elite level, at the highest level, and you make mistakes, you get punished. And that's exactly what's happened tonight.
So are you saying it's the protection from the midfield that's the issue rather than the defence itself or the defenders themselves?
No, it's a bit of everything, Kelly, because when you got a free kick at the edge of the box, you're not having any protection then. You got to defend properly. You got to pick your man up. You got to look out for other people. And when Militao runs in and no one's near him when he's 4 yards out, then that's not you can't blame the protection from the midfield for that. So no, but that doesn't help in general situations, that when Real Madrid are coming through you, yes, they've got quality players, but there's no protection there. Then the defenders aren't quick enough on the turn. The defenders aren't picking players up. So it's all over the park that you've got to look at.
We're also joined as well by former Liverpool midfielder Adam Lallana. Adam, it all started so well for Liverpool because if there are going to be defensive frailties, the best way to deal with them is to score, and they got those 2 early goals.
It was the perfect start. You couldn't have wanted anything more from the first 15 minutes of the game from Liverpool. We got their noses in front. got the second goal, and from there it just went downhill very quickly. The experience and the quality that Madrid shown tonight, in moments where they punished Liverpool, they were quite outstanding. And I agree with Alan when he said the defending in moments just wasn't good enough. I mean, the set piece goal, I mean at any level you'd be disappointed with that mark and how easy it was for him to score his goal. And just felt kind of Liverpool were chasing at that point and just left big spaces. And when you've got quality players like Modric and Benzema, they can hurt you so much. And it feels like the game's got ahead of them now and too far in front of them.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult at the Bernabeu. Steven Gerrard was saying on TV, Adam, that Liverpool were outclassed and dominated. And he said if you concede 5 goals, there's got to be an inquest. I'm sure Jurgen Klopp will do that. He said it's going to hurt. There's going to need to be some soul searching. I mean, it feels like having conceded 5 goals at home in the Champions League or European Cup for the first time ever, where do you even start by looking at what went wrong?
Well, I think there's, maybe inquest is the wrong word, but there's probably big meetings and that this season already with the form and the performances that's been happening. And what Liverpool needed was a big night tonight to kind of re-establish or reignite their season. When we spoke about that prior to the game, and they got the start to try and achieve that, and they'll be so disappointed that they've, it's so not like Liverpool of the past to go 2-0 up at Anfield. It wouldn't even be a question that they'd see that game out. So to concede 5 really does just kind of epitomise, I think, where they're at this season, and the transition that I think they're in maybe as a football club. So it might not be an inquest because they probably knew already that they had issues, but it'll be a tough one to take tonight for sure.
Alan, you were talking before the game about the need for Liverpool to have reinforced over the past season and a half. And when you look at the forwards, that's where you think they've done that. Cody Gakpo came on, scored at the weekend. Nunez scored in the game tonight. Mo Salah, having signed a new contract and then having had a slow start to the season, was on the score sheet early on in this game. But you can see where there were gaps in that Liverpool squad that aren't caused by necessarily just the injuries they've had this season, but where there is a thinness to the squad.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, even defensively, we know Trent's qualities of going forward, but he's up against top opposition tonight in Vinicius, which when you look at that, you say, okay, you go head to head, that's a tough ask. And then when you go along the back four in Gomez makes too many mistakes, and Van Dijk, I'm not sure, looks comfortable when he's alongside him, and you always felt that you're going to get something, you're going to be giving something away when Gomez is playing in there. And then you get to Fabinho in the midfield. He can't get around the pitch as he used to. Henderson Henderson's been unbelievable for Liverpool. And then young by Čečić. I mean, I think in reality he should be in and out of the Liverpool team, where you look at him and you think he's probably their best midfielder at this moment in time, when someone getting on the ball, someone who wants to thread that little pass. But for an 18-year-old, it's a big ask for him to go in there tonight against those superstars in that Real Madrid midfield. So yeah, when we said before the game, "Are Liverpool back?" and I said I don't think so. Wasn't quite sure what to expect tonight, and that's the reason why.
So as Adam was saying, it is almost mission impossible now for Liverpool to go to the Bernabeu at 5-2 down and try and get something from there. You'd think if they did have a chance, it would be if it was Madrid first and they were 5-2 down there, bringing it back to Anfield. But this way round, can you see any chance of them progressing to the quarterfinals, Alan?
No, because they're going to have to attack, and Real Madrid will be at their most dangerous when Liverpool do that, because their strength are in forward positions. Yes, they've got Modric in the midfield, so when Liverpool attack, and when you're talking about Benzema and Vinicius Jr, that when they attack, then you're leaving those two guys on the break. You would fancy them against anyone in world football, let alone Liverpool's defence.
And Real Madrid, remember, have not lost at home in any competition this season.
Which makes it even more unlikely that they're going to go and lose quite as heavily as they need to in order for Liverpool to get through to that. So Real Madrid looking very comfortable in terms of progressing to the quarter-finals. Jordan Henderson talked to BT Sport after the game. He said it's hard to sum up straight afterwards. Mixed feelings of frustration and disappointment. For a large part of the first half, we performed well. We were unlucky to go in level at half-time. We made too many mistakes around the goals, especially, and when you make mistakes, teams like Madrid punish you, and they punished us every time tonight. As I say, we will come on to Madrid because of the talent that they have in that side, particularly going forward. But Adam, on Liverpool's season now, looking as unlikely as it is that they're going to progress in the Champions League, they're out of the domestic cup competitions. There's still a long way to go if they want to qualify for the Champions League next season through the league. But is that where their focus, do you think, has to be now?
I think it has to be, and it will be. It will be. They won back-to-back games coming into this game tonight against Madrid. So they'll have to dust themselves down very quickly and try and take the positives from the last two games. There's not many positives from tonight. The tie's not over, but going to the Bernabeu, like we've said, it's near on impossible for them to overturn a 3-goal deficit.
Looking very, very difficult for Liverpool. But Alan, we need to take into account this Real Madrid side that have managed to come back from 2-0 down and win this game by 5-2. I mean, there is just extraordinary talent in them. We talked about maybe the Liverpool midfield at the moment and whether there's a lack of experience, whether at times there's too much experience maybe, and players maybe not at the levels that they have been in previous seasons. But someone like Luka Modric, at 37 years old, still talking about maybe continuing to play for Croatia. I mean, he just looks as though he's a man 10 years younger.
Do you know what? He was actually doing overlaps down on the right-hand side in this second half. Not only that, he was protecting the back four. He was winning balls in front of them, doing them a favour. Everything that we said the Liverpool midfield weren't able to do, he was doing that at 37 years of age. And the goal that he set up, I mean, the way he ran off by Cecic, a 37-year-old running off an 18-year-old as if to say, get off me, you're not keeping up with me. And then to have the ability and the know-how to stick it out to the brilliant Vinicius Jr on the left, who then fed Benzema, who then cuts inside and sits the goalkeeper down and sticks it in the top left-hand corner. Yeah, I mean, this team's an exceptional team with great experience, and they've got some world-class players in it. And at times it was a joy to watch Modric tonight, because his little one-touches and his vision, what's in and around him, but then to have the ability to have those little 1 and 2 touches and go around midfielders as he did, he's a very, very special talent.
Kelly, I've just been going through the records here, just to try and get my head around the fact that Liverpool have conceded 5 goals. And yes, as we say, it's the first time they've conceded 5 goals in any European competition here at Anfield. And actually, they'd never conceded 4 in a match before, never mind 5. So 3 was the most they'd conceded in a match here at Anfield. And in all European matches, only once before I can see that they've let in 5 in a match, and that was back in 1966 in the European Cup away to Ajax. So the first leg 2-2, second leg lost 5-1 and went out in the second round of the European Cup that year.
I think the other thing that's notable for, and it's only because I saw it at half time, is that Johan Cruyff scored in that game, and Vinicius Jr becomes the youngest player since Johan Cruyff to score 2 against Liverpool in an away game in European competition. I think that's right as well. But the 2 goals, one for Militao and a couple of goals as well for Karim Benzema. And when Benzema and Modric, Adam, were substituted in that game, they were applauded not only by their own fans but by the Liverpool supporters for for the brilliant performances that they put in. They know they've seen, and they knew it before the game, but they know that they've just witnessed in person special talents. Yeah,
I mean, Alan spoke about it then, but I was in awe of watching Luka Modric tonight. I mean, at 37, the way he has the ability to dictate the tempo by taking the sting out of the game, putting his foot on the ball. And even Camavinga and Valverde, I mean, that just shows that Madrid are evolving as well. They're bringing in younger players who they lost Casemiro, and Camavinga tonight at 2-0 down was taking the ball in tight areas, taking the sting out of the game, playing with personality, the pace on the wings. It just felt like I was watching the favourites of the competition there at times tonight.
He looked at him, didn't he, Camavinga, as if he'd been watching Casemiro at close quarters at Real Madrid, every possible opportunity, and it was almost like him in a younger body.
It was, and I remember watching him come on in, I think it was the final of the World Cup this year, and noticing a couple of his actions and thinking, wow, and then looking online to see how much he's played, and he's not actually played that much, but he's obviously been learning week in, week out from Kroos, Modric, Casemiro, and now it's no surprise probably to why they let Casemiro leave, because it's just opened a gap for the boy Camavinga, and wow, he was sensational again tonight.
Adam, I just want to ask you one more on Modric, because you'll have played against him.
Yeah.
And he's probably, he is, maybe even better, but he's the same player. It's not that you played against, peak Modric and now he's gone off the boil. This is still peak Modric.
He's getting peaker, isn't he? Every time I watch
He's getting peaker. I like that.
Yeah, listen, whenever I've played against him, you can't even get close to him. He's one of them players that he has the ability to understand space and time, and even though he's not getting slower, like tonight when he won the ball back and he held Berisic off and looked even quicker with the ball, he just makes the game look so easy and so simple and so calm. And what an education for the likes of Camavinga and the younger boys at Madrid coming through to learn from. And
I know I said it earlier about Cecic, about he really needs to go and have a look at that performance again from Modric up against him tonight, in the way he conducts himself, the way he handles the ball under pressure, his little one touch and his vision and everything else around him. He'd do a lot worse than going and having a look at that again tonight. It might be painful for him watching, but he might just learn a few lessons of how it could be and should be done.
And conduct is the word, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's like the conductor.
Yeah, exactly what he does. Yeah.
The Tottenham team, particularly in the second of the Real Madrid team, particularly in the second half, when they're on top and just didn't want to give Liverpool a sniff. And that's exactly what they did.
Do we think Real Madrid, Alan, first of all, can go on and win this, or will go on and win this?
It would take a brave man to say no, they can't, because with their experience and with Ancelotti, I mean, he never panics. You can see him even when they were 2-0 down, looking at his expression, just okay. He has belief in his players that they'll get a goal back, and if they get one, they'll get two. It would take a brave man to say they couldn't win this competition. Absolutely, he can win it. Yeah. And
if Liverpool turn this around, that would top the Barcelona win, wouldn't it?
Probably, yes, might do. That was one of the best nights I've ever witnessed in football in terms of atmosphere-wise, and it was a pleasure to be there at Anfield those few years ago. So it takes some doing to do that, though.
Yeah, and I think the fact that it's at the Bernabeu would make
Kelly,
it a more difficult challenge, and that's why, with a very big if, it would top that result against Barcelona. So Liverpool's Real Madrid nightmare continues. They've lost 6 of their last 7 games against them. In the other Champions League tie, Napoli beat 10-man Eintracht Frankfurt by 2-0. Di Lorenzo and, of course, Victor Osimhen. Let's bring in EuroLeague's regular and Italian football journalist Mina Rzouki. Mina, the man of the moment, on target once again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're there talking about Real Madrid, and it would take someone courageous to say they couldn't win it. But Spalletti has something to say about that with his Napoli side. This is just a team that's overflowing, honestly, with beauty. Osimhen is very much the man of the hour, but I think that Chucky Lozano had a brilliant game tonight, as did Kvaratskhelia with what he did for that second goal. It's very difficult to just pinpoint because it's the beauty across the pitch in midfield, from Lobotka to the simplicity and the perfect passing of Anguissa, the defense of Kim, the passing of Rahmani. It's a total team effort. And honestly, they should have been up by a lot more than that. But they missed a penalty, and 2-0 is what they'll take back home. But Napoli, for me, right now are just... Italy celebrating Ancelotti and Napoli.
Yes, well, exactly. They've got Italian representation in the dugout at Real Madrid. But for Napoli, what is that? Unbeaten in 9 games in all competitions. And they're in incredible form in Serie A. This isn't just a great Champions League run from them. This is just a fantastic all-round season.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, at the time, they lost Lorenzo Insigne, who's their captain, Kalidou Koulibaly, who was just considered a phenomenon at centre-back and very much sort of the leader of that team. Dries Mertens, one of their top scorer. And everyone thought this was going to be a year in which they're just going to have to rebuild and it's a transitional year. And they've just come out and totally dominated Serie A. Just astounding play from beginning to end. And the way that Osimhen has grown from just being a player that relied a lot more on sort of... wanting it more than anything, and sometimes got himself injured because of how much he desired to score, to now the technique that you see from him, the individual quality of Kvaratskhelia that they brought in for 10 million, the wonderful scouting that they've done. This is a team in profit, which is almost unheard of in Serie A as a club. And the way that they've gone about their business, the only team to have beaten them is Inter, who will play tomorrow against Porto. But generally speaking, top scorers at the group stage, 20 goals, 11 different goal scorers. Really, if they actually knew how to take a penalty, they'd be flying even higher. That's the only thing. They've had 6 penalties. They've only managed to score 3. But there's just not a team in Italy right now that they haven't dominated and completely taken control of. So this is a team right now that's high in Europe and high in Italy.
Yeah, let's talk more about Osimhen, because he is... the player of the moment. 20 goals in 24 appearances, including 7 consecutive goals in Serie A for the first time in the history of the club. He's averaging a goal every 75 minutes. But I understand you're highlighting the rest of the Napoli side, because he can't do it on his own. But he is the one who's making the headlines, Mina.
Yeah, he is, and he deserves to be. There's something always about Napoli, which everyone always said in Italy, which is they always look really good, even under Maurizio Sarri. They played fantastic football. But there was always this fear that they would fall off. Emotionally, they were weak. Psychologically, they would always break. Even when they were playing really well, something would stop and they would start losing games and they'd fall apart. But Osimhen has really grown to be this leader that they need on the pitch. He doesn't give up. One thing about him is every time you do an interview with him, he highlights how grateful he is that he's a footballer. And he says that just the opportunity to be able to live out his dream is all that he needs. And he brings that every day. He doesn't ever take it for granted that he does this job. And you have now with him Kvaratskhelia, who feels a lot like him and actually decided to, forego any luxury apartment or anywhere in Napoli and lives right by the training center just so they could go and play football all the time and learn and develop the way that they are. But even those second moves that you think are pieces of individual quality like Kvaratskhelia, just in the post-match conference, they acknowledged that actually that was a practice move. Everything that's done on the pitch is practiced by Spalletti. And a lot of it is because the likes of Osimhen don't want to go home. They're so happy to be there. They're so happy to keep training and working with the team. And I think his leadership of the pitch, as well as his brilliance off it and how much he's grown on a technical level, he's always been brilliant. I need to highlight that. But how he is now, how consistent he is. And it's great to have a season in which he's not always suffering from injuries, so we can really see the brilliance. There's a reason why they paid over 80 million for him, and we're starting to very much see the consistency that he provides right now.
Yeah, and as long as we see that consistency, the longer they'll keep putting that work in, and everyone can be afraid of them in this competition. Mina, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much to Mina Rzouki there. So that's the Champions League. In the EFL, 72 Plus presenter Aaron Paul joins us now. Burnley have dropped points. However, they do have a bit of a buffer, Alan.
Yeah, just that little 12-point buffer. I mean, look, they huffed and puffed tonight, Kelly. They really thought they'd blown the Millhouse down. It wasn't the best of first halves from Vincent Kompany's side, not vintage Burnley. They lacked their usual verve and finesse. Nathan Tella and Jay Rodriguez missing out with Millwall streetwise. I mean, that's not saying that Burnley didn't engage in the dark arts. Ashley Barnes broke the deadlock. Tom Bradshaw bagged the equaliser to send the den, while Burnley, as you say, 12 clear at the summit. The gap to Middlesbrough, just 16 points. Vincent Kompany won't admit it, but let's be fair, his side will be playing Premier League football next season, bar the most monumentous of slip-ups. I just want to focus on Millwall for a few seconds. What a mammoth few days for the Lions. Top 2 visiting inside 4 days. 2 humongous performances from a squad struggling with injury, illness. 4 points picked up. They could have sat 9th tonight. Instead, they are 5th and go to Luton next Tuesday. Gary Rowett may just have found a recipe to turn the Championship's bridesmaids into playoff brides.
I tell you, one of the most significant results of the evening was Rotherham, who've managed to put a bit of distance between themselves and the relegation places.
Massive result for Rotherham and Matt Taylor, who's really struggled at the Millers since joining back in October. Their first win in 5. Taylor said ahead of tonight's game that his side were brittle and that they would have to really try and ignore the teams behind them. It was a really bad weekend for Rotherham last weekend, with different results seeing them closer to the dotted line, but a massive win tonight with goals from Oliver Rathbone and former Millwall man Shane Ferguson.
And Aaron, the big story in the EFL, all about Gareth Ainsworth. After more than a decade, he's gone from Wycombe and he's now at QPR.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few people surrounding Wycombe Wanderers tonight. They have called today a very emotional day. They said it's been an emotionally draining 48 or so hours at Adams Park, but QPR have their man. Ars legend Gareth Ainsworth has swapped Wycombe for West London. Ainsworth spent 7 years at Loftus Road as a player, coach and interim boss, and returns having spent just over 10 years in Buckinghamshire, saving Wycombe from EFL oblivion at Torquay United and winning promotion twice, including promotion to the Championship for the first time. Look, a lot of people are going to question the style of football, but this man is a great man motivator. He knows how to garner team spirit, and let's be fair, that is what QPR need right now, as they've been on what is a monumental slide since Mick Beale was in the job. On the flip side, and Wycombe Wanderers have immediately appointed his successor. Matt Bloomfield is the new Wycombe Wanderers manager after just 5 months and 27 games at Colchester United. Mr. Wycombe is back at Adams Park, Kelly, and he will get the biggest of receptions when they head back to their ground next week after a weekend trip to Shrewsbury.
Aaron, thank you very much. Comprehensive, as always. And one other result to bring you. Plymouth beat Cheltenham 3-2 on penalties in their EFL Trophy semi-final. That finished 1-1 after 90 minutes, and Plymouth are in the final. The other semi-final between Accrington Stanley and Bolton takes place tomorrow night. So Liverpool 5-2 defeat by Real Madrid at Anfield, having led by 2-0 after 15 minutes. Adam, Liverpool have got Crystal Palace at the weekend. They've had a good couple of results in the league. This one is going to really set them back. How do they pick themselves up?
They just have to go again. Is that game at home at the weekend against Palace?
I think it is, yes.
Yeah, well, it's a must-win.
Oh no, it's
at
at Palace.
home.
It's at Palace.
Oh, it's at Palace. Well, it's going to be very tough. Very tough. You know, Patrick Vieira's got them being very solid and playing on the counter-attack, so that's going to be a very difficult game for them. But they can't feel sorry for themselves. You know, no one else will be, so they have to dust themselves down literally and go again.
Alan, just as that little bit of hope started to build its way into that Liverpool squad, tonight will have been a real setback.
Yeah, huge setback for them. I understand that there was a little bit of excitement to say that they were back, and at least they had a little bit of energy against Everton and Newcastle. But this has been a huge setback for them tonight. Not so much the defeat, but it's the manner that it happened. 2-0 up and then crumbling, crushing, conceding 5 goals in the way they did. Yes, they're up against some fantastic players, but you don't concede goals like that unless there's 1 or 2 issues in the camp, and they're going to have to address those. And defensively, they were again poor tonight. Thought they were defensively poor against Newcastle as well, even though Newcastle had 10 men. So that's something they're going to have to. And I know they've had problems, and I know they've tried, but they're going to have to keep working because it ain't right.
Alan Shearer, Adam Lallana and John Murray, thank you very much for your company this evening. You'll be able to hear from Jurgen Klopp in the Football Daily podcast, which you'll be able to download from the BBC Sounds app. Tomorrow night, it's Manchester City's turn. They face RB Leipzig. Full commentary on 5 Live Sport at 8 o'clock with all the build-up from 7. And England's women face Belgium in the Arnold Clark Cup. That one is on Sports Extra at 7:45. Colin Murray is up next on 5 Live Sport. Oh, you sound cheerier than I expected.
Yeah. Listen, I'm always cheery when I'm on air. I'm doing weeknights. I love it.
Yes.
I love every night. I really do.
What have you got coming up, Colin?
Well, we're going to be looking at the news of the day to start with, some really interesting conversations. We're going to always, as we do every night, have conversations you won't hear anywhere else. Tonight we're looking back on the anniversary of the biggest cash heist in the history of this nation. And also we've got a new midnight meets tonight from 12. We always do that Tuesday into Wednesday. It's a really special one. It's with Sam Fox, who needs no introduction, you know.
Wow.
But we really get to know her, really get the story behind her, and it's just really nice. We entered at strangers, and I left with real fondness for her. And that's coming up tonight as well. And if we get a spur 4 or 5 minutes, we'll look back at the first 14 minutes of Liverpool against Real Madrid tonight. We'll see how we get on with that.
If you can squeeze that one in. But just the first 14, 15 minutes of it.
Yeah, of course. Nothing happened after that, so that's absolutely
very
fine.
Quiet.
Denial is a wonderful thing. I recommend it to all football fans out there, Kel. Thank you. You have a lovely night.
Good night. Thank you.
Let's kick off with the news and sports headlines. Here's Fraser Denton.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. President Biden says America and its allies won't tire in their support for Ukraine. He told an audience in Poland that Vladimir Putin's lust for land and power would fail. The Royal College of Nursing has suspended planned strike action and will hold pay talks with the government. Thousands of nurses in England were due to walk out for 48 hours from next Wednesday. British Steel is expected to announce 300 job losses tomorrow. It's due to close a coking oven at its plant in Scunthorpe. And Morrison's and Asda are limiting some fruit and veg purchases. Supermarkets are facing shortages because of bad weather in Spain and North Africa, affecting harvests. In sport tonight, as you've been hearing, it was a night of goals galore and goalkeeping gaffes at Anfield as Liverpool lost their Champions League last 16 first tie to Real Madrid 5-2. Darwin Nunez opened the scoring for the home side with a backheeled goal after just 4 minutes. Mo Salah made the best of a blunder from Thibaut Courtois to make it 2-0 after just 14 minutes. But Vinicius Jr pulled one back with a long-range shot on 21 minutes, then added a second when Alisson knocked a back pass straight at the striker, which rebounded into the net. 2 minutes into the second half, Militao headed in a free kick to give Real the lead before Karim Benzema scored as his shot was deflected in just before the hour. Benzema then struck a second on 67 minutes, leaving Liverpool with a mountain to climb for the second leg. In the Championship, top of the table, Burnley took the lead at Millwall through Ashley Barnes, but were pegged back by a late goal from Tom Bradshaw for a 1-1 draw. There were also wins for Blackburn, Rotherham, Norwich and Stoke. For details of all the games in all the competitions, head to the BBC Sport website. And Leeds United have agreed terms with former Watford boss Javi Gracia to replace Jesse Marsh as manager.
The Albert Park Circuit. Longitude and latitude 144.9. 51035 degrees. East 37.8. 501 degrees. South 3.280 miles in length. 14 turns. Are you ready for F1?
Coming soon to 5 Live
and Radio 5 Sports Extra.
Welcome to weeknights on 5 Live, and what is a really big week. Every single night we've got stuff well worth tuning in for. But before I even tell you about tonight's show, I just want to yet again start the show by flagging up this Thursday. We're on air at 10:30, and from the very beginning of the show, before the midnight mixtape, which is actually going to be 12 to 1:30 this week. Thank you, Dot Nadabayo, for the extra half hour. From 10:30 through until 12. It's the eve of the 1 year anniversary of the full Russian invasion of Ukraine. And we spent most of that year with our Ukrainian radio family, which grew organically. People we met as strangers. And then because of your text saying we need to catch up with them, we did that for the whole year. They're now our friends. So in particular, Maxim and Mila, who we've been able to properly chart, thanks to them, the 12 months that has had their world turned upside down. We've heard their ups and downs. We've heard their amazing resilience and spirit and capacity to love. And we're going to look back through these two very special soundscapes, which we spent about the last 3-4 weeks making. We're going to look back at their 12 months individually. Don't miss that on Thursday. It's going to be very, very special indeed. Now, on to tonight. We know that midnight is our special one-on-one chat with someone with a proper story to tell. That's definitely the case tonight. In the early to mid-80s, Sam Fox, at a very young age, became the glamour model to beat all glamour models. Only Thatcher and Princess Diana were possibly photographed as much. It's a crazy story in terms about how it all came about. But after that, a music career that brought 30 million record sales and hits not just here in the UK, which I thought, but when I looked into it, really big success in the US as well. Look, this is a really laid-back, honest chat. I'm not grilling her. I'm not asking her to be some sort of spokesperson or moral arbiter for everything that's happened in her career, one way or the other. And I think the result is, pardon the pun, a really stripped-back interview, and we really get to know Sam Fox tonight. And I really cherished her chat. I can't wait till you hear it tonight from 12. Before that, so many big conversations. You're invited to just listen and enjoy or get involved. 85058 in the text. Now, the race to become the new leader of the SNP and thus First Minister in Scotland is heating up. 3 key candidates. But the early frontrunner, Kate Forbes, who has lost support because of her view on gay marriage and got them votes rather than cost them votes. I think it's a really interesting conversation, and it's the story behind the story, so we're going to do that. We're also going to talk to a junior doctor. They voted for a 3-day strike. We're going to get into that. We'll have a look at Welsh rugby in crisis as well. Still the threat of strike action looms from players ahead of their Six Nations clash this weekend against England. And also at 11, 17 years since Britain's biggest ever cash robbery, to the tune of £53 million, much of which remains uncovered. What happened then and what is happening now? It's Unmissable Radio. Thank you for tuning in. 85058 on the text. But we're going to begin with a story that's dominated so much of the news today on BBC Radio 5 Live. President Putin, we're going to start with, said Russia would suspend its participation in a key nuclear weapons treaty agreed with the US in his annual speech to his nation.
The Western elite doesn't conceal their goal is to inflict a strategic defeat in Russia. What does it mean for us? It means to finish us forever. They want to grow a local conflict into global opposition. That's the way we understand it. And accordingly, we will respond to that. Because in that case, it's a matter of our very existence.
Yeah, it was Vladimir Putin blaming the West again for the war in Ukraine. His message, as it so often is, we talk about these big messages as played out globally, it seemed very much aimed at Russian citizens. The speech was then followed by one from the US President, Joe Biden. We know he was in Kiev yesterday. He's in Poland today. Part of his speech, for sure, was a response to what Vladimir Putin had to say.
The United States and the nations of Europe do not seek to control or destroy Russia. The West was not plotting to attack Russia, as Putin said today. And millions of Russian citizens who only want to live in peace with their neighbors are not the enemy. This war is never a necessity. It's a tragedy. President Putin chose this war. Every day the war continues is his choice. He could end the war with a word. It's simple. If Russia stopped invading Ukraine, it would end the war. If Ukraine stopped defending itself against Russia, it would be the end of Ukraine. That's why together we're making sure Ukraine can defend itself.